Good morning, everyone, and happy hump day from the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Brooke Grimsley, Super Bowl champ Carey Davis, Randy Karraker. We're all here in the studio, and you can see us on the Air Alliance team studio cam. Just hop on your old YouTube and type in 101 ESPN STL. Subscribe so that you see us all the time on the YouTube. It's 7 o'clock. Time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. How you guys doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you. We haven't seen you in a feel like a
little bit.
Yeah,
a couple days off. Yeah,
like a while.
Yeah, like a week back.
About
a week back. I think.
You might have set the record. You might have set the record.
Well done. Yeah, I think you may have. Yeah. Did you guys have fun? Well, I had fun. I was down at the Brian Jordan Foundation Golf Tournament in Atlanta, and it was great. A lot of former Cardinals there, a lot of former major leaguers, and it was fun to visit with Brian Jordan, who's just a prince of a guy. And I hope that he gets an opportunity to do more here in St. Louis. He's a free agent broadcaster. He'd be great with the Cardinals. Hint, hint, everybody that's listening from the Cardinals that might be in the broadcasting business. Brian Jordan would be fantastic. But he has this tournament every year, and he provides 150 scholarships to kids, plus provides literacy programs for thousands of kids, and he's just an amazing human being and one of my all-time favorite Cardinals. So it was good to participate down there. And my team with Tony Womack, the 2004 Cardinals second baseman, best Cardinal team ever, we won the tournament.
I was going to ask if you guys won.
We did. Thank you to Tony.
Good job.
Nice.
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah.
Good guy. We didn't, because we had lost Edgar Renteria after 2004, we didn't realize what we were losing in Tony Womack. Last guy before Yadier Molina to ever wear number 4 for the Cardinals. Now it'll never be worn again.
Wow.
Very nice.
Good. Here's what we got coming up on the show. We've got Jamie Rivers coming up at 8:15, and then a couple of the young St. Louis sports stars. Robert Thomas with us at 9, and Nudes coming up at 9:15. Brooke, thanks for setting that up.
Yeah. You know, as the president and CEO of the Lars Nootbaar fan club, I've been working hard to get Lars on here, and he's heading out to Japan for a little bit, and so we were able to get him before he heads out to Japan.
And that's how you're gonna like preface all your questions today, correct?
With what? About Japan?
Hey Lars, this is Brooke Grimsley, president of your fan club. I just want to know earlier this season. I just think every single question, that's how you have to preface it.
Look, here's the thing. He does know about it. I told him, like, you don't have to worry. It's not anything weird or anything like that. Not stalking you or anything like that. Just a big fan.
I think he likes having a fan club, too. That's my impression.
Yeah, he likes having a fan club, and his fan club is pretty big now. He has, like, over 1 million followers on Instagram.
Cool. A million nutty neuters of Newt Nation.
Oh, yes. We are everywhere. We're international, if you will.
Hey, how about this? The Astros beat the Twins to take a 2-1 series lead in that American League divisional series. And last night, it was the Orioles over the Orioles, according to this sheet, 7-1.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
With the Rangers swept 3-0.
You see, we go by that. If it's on the sheet, we're just going to say it.
It is what it is.
Yep. So, yeah, Orioles over the Orioles. Actually,
but the Rangers did sweep 3-0. That is on there.
Did sweep the 100-win Orioles 3-0.
How'd the Rangers get in there?
Yeah, a 7-1 win last night. I don't know. And so the Rangers, under Bruce Bochy, are going to play in the American League Championship Series. And if the Astros win one more game in their best of 5 against the Twins, it'll be Bruce Bochy, old school, against Dusty Baker, old school.
Huh.
How about that?
How about that?
How does that work? Like, do the analytic departments just take their they begin their break? They
do. Yeah.
Well,
their off-season starts early.
We're good.
Yeah.
We don't have to put in many man hours. We're okay.
Here's the thing. They give them a lot of numbers, and then the managers decide, hey,
I know. What is it?
Filter it out.
Thank you for your hard work.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, right.
Just toss it away.
Guys.
Yeah. And then it turns into, it was my gut. It was my gut instinct. But Bruce Bochy, just congratulations to him. I mean, he was worth every penny to bring him in. The way that he's been able to turn things around. I mean, think about it. With Bruce Bochy, this was not only a season that he had to help them get through, where they saw their $185 million pitcher deal with the season-ending injury. What was it? Just 6 starts into the season, and then at the trade deadline, you had Max Scherzer come in, but he wasn't available through the series, so they were able to navigate through that. Bruce Bochy helping with that, and then you even look at how he was able to push the right buttons with Mitch Mitch Garver, putting him in the 3-hole, and he hasn't been in the lineup since like October 1st. The way that he was able to navigate through all of those different challenges, I think that that's where that experience, that gut instinct comes in, where he knows how to do that. And a lot of the players were talking about in the post game last night about how he's just been a steady force and he never gets too high, never too low, which sounds simple. I know that a lot of people say that, but when you go through a season where, as I mentioned, you lose your $180 million pitcher and then you have all these other injuries and challenges, I think that that says a lot about what Bruce Bochy's been able to do and really turn things around with the Rangers.
And he does such a great job, and we'll get to that game in a moment, but he does such a great job of handling a bullpen and integrating new guys into the bullpen. The first game yesterday was a 9-1 rout of Houston over Minnesota, and it happened early to Minnesota. After an RBI single by Kyle Tucker, up came Jose Abreu.
First and third, 1-0 Astros. The pitch. And Abreu cranks it deep to left field. Kiss it goodbye. A 3-run home run for Jose Abreu. And the Astros have a 4-0 lead in the first.
4-0 after one. Christian Javier buckled down. He was terrific. He goes 5 strong innings. He allows 1 hit, strikes out 9, and then the bullpen for Houston shut him down. Sonny Gray takes a loss. He allowed those 4 first-inning runs. He allows 5 overall, and he did so in 4 innings of work, allowing 8 hits, 6 strikeouts, but 1 walk.
Be honest, Randy. How are you feeling when old Sonny came home?
Should I be? What have I said?
Yeah, I was just here's
the thing. I know what's going to happen with the guy in big games. He's not going to give you innings, and he's not going to necessarily be great. And that's just I don't feel happy for the guy. But like I've said, I don't hate Sonny Gray. I'm just saying, if you plan on winning a World Series, he can't be your number 1 guy.
Randy, quit stretching and take the victory lap.
I don't need it. It's 1 game. Like Brooke asked me how I felt after his 5 shutout innings against Toronto. I said, I'm not going to judge him on 1 game. I'm not going to judge him on 1 game here. I look at his body of work over, 13 years or whatever. It's pretty easy to look at that and figure out what's going on.
You don't need much more than that.
No.
That's a pretty good indicator.
Yeah, that's why we had a Lars Newbar fan club and not an Oscar Mercado fan club in this.
You're right.
Oh, no. Yeah, I mean.
We gave it a shot.
The regular season with Oscar Mercado.
Yeah, we tried.
Yeah. That was more of a flash in a pan, right? It didn't pan out that well. You see what I did there? But Sonny Gray, good during the regular season, but what you mentioned there, the postseason is just a completely different animal. And I feel like that's what you're seeing with a lot of these teams.
Because everybody's good.
Yeah.
I mean, you pitch most of your games in the AL Central. And then all of a sudden you're pitching against the Houston Astros. It's a different animal.
I think it's that, and I think this is the part that when you talk about analytics, this is why I get so bothered by it, because analytics can't help you with what's inside of a person until you can give me something that looks internally into what a person is dealing with, going through physically, mentally, what they're thinking in that moment. We've seen Clayton Kershaw, one of the greatest pitchers to ever play the game, cannot have success in the postseason. What is that? Throw your damn analytics sheet away. It doesn't matter, because this guy, whatever it is internally, mentally, there's a block there that doesn't allow him to have success. So until you put all of those things together, the numbers along with the human side of it, I don't care what your numbers say solely, because it's only going to give you a glimpse of what could happen, but it's not going to tell you what will happen.
No.
Meanwhile, in the other game last night, the Rangers rolled over the Orioles 7-1. A solo home run by Corey Seager early on in the first inning, and then a 5-run second, keyed by a guy whose heartbeat doesn't start racing in big games. Oh, and he used to play for the Cardinals.
Garcia gets up on top of that ball, hammers it to left field. What a swing! It's gone!
A 418-foot home run by Adolis Garcia. 6-0 at that point, and the Rangers win by a score of 7-1. And the aforementioned Bruce Bochy was able to weather a little bit of a bullpen storm after Nathan Eovaldi went 7. Holy cow! Did you see that? A starting pitcher went 7 innings.
Is that allowed?
I didn't even know that could happen.
I thought that the numbers and analytics would allow that.
Their heads were exploding as it was taking place. 7 innings.
7 innings. 7 for Eovaldi. Aroldis Chapman had a rugged 2/3 of an 7th inning. He allowed a hit, walked a couple, and struck one out. And then Leclerc, their closer, came on for the final inning and a third to win it for Texas and win the series for Texas. The last game they played was Game 7 of the 2011 World Series. The last ALCS game they played was the 2011 World Series. So
what happened in that game?
Well, Chris Carpenter shut him down. Game 6, David Freese had kind of ruined their lives.
Darn it.
Yeah. They just won't go away.
They're probably happy to not face that again.
Yeah, really.
How about that?
Yeah. And tonight, you've got 2 more games. You've got Philadelphia hosting Atlanta. That's going to be a wild scene, isn't it? As the Phillies try to gain the upper hand. Phillies kind of do have, because of the day off, an upper hand going home. They're a really good home team.
Yeah.
And they've got Aaron Nola on the mound.
I love that series, though. It's been so exciting. That is the series that I have just enjoyed the most because these are just 2 really, really good clubs. And just seeing it all play out, and for the Braves to finally come alive, I thought that was just exciting to see for them to be able to claw their way back into that one. So I don't even know where that one will go, honestly.
For me, it was disappointing that the Phillies allowed the Braves back into that game. We were talking about it yesterday, how Trey Turner, booted that ball and allowed Acuna to score. You allowed them to see themselves crossing the plate and starting to believe that fan base started going crazy in that stadium. And so that really is what started it. And it just spiraled out of control after that.
But with the Braves, when they find a crack, that's the thing. Yeah. And then I love just seeing the October stars starting to come out. Michael Harris with his performance, and then Austin Riley just really doing a lot, too, for the Braves. I thought that was really fun to see.
And the Braves have not announced a Game 3 starter yet. Might be a bullpen game.
Uh-oh.
Against Aaron Nola.
TBD?
You got to watch out for TBD.
It's dangerous.
We saw that a few times with the Cardinals, didn't we?
TBD was a killer for the Cardinals this season.
Probably because of the analytics. They just don't know who the hell is pitching. How do we get these numbers in order?
So, Braves and Phils at 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock tonight. Astros and Twins. That's Urquidy against Ryan. And then the night game, the Dodgers trying to stave off elimination at Arizona. The Dodgers will pitch another former Cardinal, Lance Lynn, and he'll be opposed by one of the more fun pitchers in Major League Baseball, Brandon Pfaadt. P-H-A-A-D-T. I go P-H-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-A-D-T. So I go Brandon Pfaadt for Arizona.
Oh, there you go.
Okay. Arizona had a pitcher. It was a guy. We were talking about him. I don't know where he came from. Randy, he was really good in their last outing. Gallen?
Oh, the milkman.
The milkman, yes.
Where did he come from?
He grew up a Cardinal fan, and he got into the Cardinal organization, and then they traded him.
Oh, shoot. He was looking really.
You know what else is troublesome about this, guys? I don't know if it's troublesome, but, it's just kind of weird, is how great Marcell Ozuna is. we tend to overlook that. And yes, knucklehead, absolutely. But
you said knucklehead, absolutely.
Yeah, he is. They traded him because he's a knucklehead. But this year, if you haven't been paying close attention, Marcell Ozuna, who Alcantara and Gallen were traded for, he had 40 homers and 100 RBIs. Mm-hmm. He had a 905 OPS.
How about that?
Wow.
So, we tend to overlook the fact that it was a good trade. We just didn't get anything out of it.
Just wasn't good for us.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But this guy, when he's been able to avoid jail, led the league in homers in 2020, his first year in Atlanta, 18 and 56.
Circle that back. What?
Yeah, when he's been able to get out from behind bars.
That's important.
Yeah, and then last year, 23 homers, 56 ribs. And then this year bounces back with the 905 OPS. So he's been pretty good, too. All right, you are up to date. Blues hockey starting tomorrow night here on 101 ESPN. They're at Dallas, 6 o'clock pregame as the Blues open the 23-24 Stanley Cup Championship campaign. LGB. Hashtag LGB. And Thomas.
Let's get it started.
Let's go Blues.
Yeah. Coming up, it is Wednesday. It is hump day. And I am back and refreshed. And if you have a question about life in general, if you have a question about sports postseason, if you have a question for Brooke or Carey, it's Ask Uncle Randy Day. Get your text in to the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. 314-399-YO-HO. Ask Uncle Randy is next on 101 ESPN.
Let him dive. Got a question for Uncle Randy? Let him dive into his infinite well filled with wisdom to find you answers. Text 314-399-9646. It's Ask Uncle Randy on 101 ESPN.
Time for Ask Uncle Randy here on 101 ESPN. Carey, Brooke, Randy, Matthew, and Matthew has your texts for us. 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. We want to hear from you. Any serious questions you got? Fire away.
Do they have to be serious?
No, non-serious questions are preferred.
All right, good. Dear Uncle Randy, my 20th anniversary is coming up. What kind of trip should I plan?
20th anniversary. I would say that there are a couple of things you can do. You could revisit your honeymoon trip on your 20th anniversary. That's always a good one to do. But at this time of year, I would suggest go to a warmer weather climb than St. Louis is scheduled to be at the moment. So whatever you prefer in terms of warm weather, whether it might be maybe Gulf Shores, or maybe you'll do like Florida, or maybe go down to like South Carolina or something like that. I would suggest at this time of year a warmer climate. That would be my main one.
100%. I like the warmer climates. Unless you, I don't know, if you want to go somewhere skiing or something like that, you could also do that. And she can hang out at the spa. Or if she skis, she can ski, of course.
There you go.
But I'm definitely a warm weather person, too. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
That'd be a good way to celebrate.
Good to get ahead of that game plan, though.
Dear Uncle Randy. That's a good point.
Save stress for everybody involved.
Dear Uncle Randy, do you have any suggestions for my first-year teachers who are about to conduct parent-teacher conferences? Conversely, any tips for parents on their decorum?
Okay. Let's start.
Carey.
Let's start.
Wow,
with, I know that Carey is going to have something to say here because Carey is dealing with kids on a regular basis. Okay. So first of all, you're a principal, I assume. So, recommendation for your teachers. I think the key is to be blatantly honest, because the big thing you want from kids is to get the most out of school. And if the kid is not doing homework, for example, if the parents aren't, if he's coming in and the homework isn't done, I think it's very important to be really honest about, okay, we've got a real issue here with the homework getting done, or something to that effect. By the way, don't tell any parents that their kid is dumb. I think that's another
don't do that.
Little bit of advice. And then for parents, you just the teacher is in that business because they want to see your kid do well, or they want summers off. But I'm assuming they're in the business because they want to see your kid do well. So if there are recommendations or suggestions on the part of the teacher, I would hope that parents would accept those recommendations gracefully. For the most part, I have not seen, and in going to parent-teacher meetings for a couple of kids over the years, I haven't seen much consternation when my kids were in school. But I would hope that the big thing would be for teachers and for parents to try to avoid any sort of conflict and just accept what the other says and have an adult conversation.
I think being honest about where your child is, like the progress that they have made or have not made, being open and honest and communicating that, effectively, and making sure everyone is on the same page. From a parent standpoint, if you go in there with, here's the thing, Randy, and Brooke, and Rock. There's a notion that I see it all the time. It's amazing to me.
My kid can do no wrong notion?
Well, I see these parents. I got friends. Their kids may go to different schools, and I see, Facebook posts. And your child. Some of these children are terrorists. Like they are terrible children, but you don't know. And I've witnessed it. I've had a parent literally tell me. I said, my son is getting bullied in school. I said, no, ma'am. Your son is the bully in school. What are you talking about? No, ma'am. And so you have to have a realistic understanding of who your child is and what your child is actually doing in that school, because some of these kids are running amok. They are doing whatever the hell when they leave your home. And it's amazing to me because when I ask them, you act like this at home? No. So why do you get here and act like? Because if your mother or father were to walk in this building right now and see you doing this, what would you do? You are a totally different child. So, parents, understand that the sweet, innocent child that you think you have at home may not be the sweet, innocent child that it is or she is once she or he gets to that school.
And with that being the case, if a teacher is aware of that behavior, should they tell a parent that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Good.
Let them know, but here's the thing. Parents are, sometimes they're delusional about their own children.
My kid
Yes.
can do no
My kid
wrong,
didn't
parent.
do anything. No, your child is tearing this class apart every single day.
I agree. I think that's my mother was a longtime teacher, my aunt a longtime teacher, and they both spoke about the change in kind of parenting styles and also the change in children's behavior that they would start to see. Both elementary school teachers, retired now, but they discussed about how the parent-teacher meetings started to turn into, okay, what did my kid do wrong or something like that? What should I be doing at home? Turning into, well, what are you doing to my child to make them act like that? Where it's completely changed. And I think that is on the parents because that starts at home. If the parents aren't teaching that you should be, of course you should question things. You should be curious about the world. You should be able to, if somebody, even if adult, they're doing wrong, not be afraid to speak. But also there's a level of decorum on how you handle things, about respecting people and talking to them in a manner that is appropriate, that I think is also sometimes not being taught. And it all goes back to manners and just being respectful.
And I was respectful. I was a bad student, but I was at least respectful. All right, What do we got next, Matthew? I was a nice.
Uncle Randy.
I was a nice bad student.
A nice bad student. That's good.
Uncle Randy, my girlfriend of 2 years recently moved in with me and wants to help pay the bills. I don't want her to have to help, but she is persistent. What should I do? Take the help.
Yeah, take the help. That's fine.
I like how you said that.
She wants to contribute to the partnership, and she's a girlfriend of 2 years. If you're living together, I have no problem at all. And my suggestion would be you should have no problem at all with her wanting to help, to actually pay for her accommodations.
How about this? How about instead of helping with the bills, put the money aside for vacations or trips or things that we would like to do in the future. Maybe we want to get a dog. Maybe we plan on getting married and want to use these funds for that. So if you don't want her to help in that regard, hey, why don't we help plan for our future in this regard and put this money here?
In a joint account?
Yeah.
Because if there is no future, you don't want it in her account.
No. Well, it's her money. So,
but she's willing to pay out.
Yeah, I think that's what you need to do. This sounds like probably a woman who has been through a relationship where the financial stuff probably maybe got tense, and she's trying to avoid that. So maybe just sitting down and coming together on a discussion, either with splitting the bills or, like you said, CD, if you don't want her to pay the bills, then maybe set aside funds for something else, because financial stuff can cause a lot of stress in a relationship.
That's why I ignore it. I have no idea.
Like that. Like it's not there.
I'm pretty sure it's like number...
I got in trouble one time for saying, and I'll say it again, I got in trouble for saying I have no idea how much money I make. I really don't.
Who'd you get in trouble with?
Well, that's a home thing.
Oh, okay.
You should know.
Oh, fair enough. That's a good Uncle Randy right there, ladies and gentlemen. Block that away. Dear Uncle Randy, how do you feel if the NHL awarded a franchise to Kansas City?
I think that'd be great. I think it'd be a wonderful rivalry. If, for example, if the NHL would expand again and Kansas City would get a team and Houston would get a team, I'd be fine. I know they're interested in Atlanta.
I was going to say Atlanta seems to be getting one.
But I would love having a hockey rivalry with Kansas City, and I think Kansas City could handle it. I think that they could handle a winter sport, either basketball or hockey. I don't know that they could do both, but I think they could handle both. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, I think so too. It does seem, though, that Atlanta is going to be pretty close to getting one.
Thrashers again?
I don't know what they'll do next time.
Scouts.
No, Atlanta.
Oh,
what'd you say?
Casey Scouts.
Oh,
Kansas City Scouts.
Atlanta.
I like that.
They were an NHL team for a minute. Started as the Colorado Rockies hockey team, then moved to Kansas City, and now they're the New Jersey Devils.
You'd have to change the logo just because. 2023. Just because 2023. Uncle Randy, I'm at a crossroads. I kind of run an operation that woefully underperformed this past year. We knew changes were coming, but we didn't adapt. We grossly overvalued our assets, and I think we might be leaning into more computer-driven results instead of people-driven results. I'm nearing retirement, and I want my time here remembered positively. What do I do?
Okay, Mo.
I was gonna say, I was like, this sounds
To be
weirdly
100% honest,
specific.
I read that in my head 3 minutes ago. Didn't hit me at all. In the middle of reading it on the air, I go, oh no.
This sounds oddly familiar.
Here's the
It's
thing.
close to home.
I am of the opinion that in every endeavor in life, it's about people and relationships. And I would suggest that the more veteran, experienced people you can get in your industry, whether it's radio or whether it's banking or whether it's insurance, if you can be a relationship person, Mo, I think that you can develop a better organization. Use the analytics and numbers as a tool rather than having them drive how you go about business.
Do you think that in order to be successful in certain fields, you have to be able to communicate with people effectively? Like there are some people, we were talking about it yesterday, that just are awkward when it comes to having human connection. Talking to people and how do you even leave a conversation like, oh, have a good day. Now, there are some people that have that issue, and I don't know if that's an issue here with this gentleman and their company and Mo. I don't know, but I just wonder if the human element, everything can't be on a spreadsheet and can't be numbers and I guess quantified based on the analytics of things. You have to have human connection with people and be able to talk and understand why you wanted to do this versus why you wanted to do that, or all of those things. Right. I think that matters.
All of our salespeople are great communicators, right? Yeah. Every great salesperson is a great communicator. I played over the weekend with Bob and Tony Hawkins from Hawkins Construction, and they've been in business for a long time. They do concrete work, and their work is all about relationships and having developed relationships with people that need that work done. They've done that over the years. Ultimately, yes, you just can't. I will say this respectfully, you can't have a numbers nerd that runs the operation. Says, okay, well, we've got this spreadsheet that says we've got.
Not the voice.
That's my perception of the numbers nerd.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was gonna keep going.
And to the point of what you guys are saying too, you know what it is, right? Because with numbers, if you're able to put things into numbers and try to make people numbers, essentially, then that is you trying to control the situation. The human element, you don't know, while you try to analyze that, you can never control humans and human emotions. So I think that sometimes by using the numbers, that's you trying to control the situation.
And the geniuses, the greatest people on earth, the people that are the most successful are the people that can communicate, build great relationships, and see numbers in 3D, see numbers in ways that other people don't see them. So that if you have that incredible ability, the dual ability to actually be able to communicate and do the numbers, that's what makes the best people on earth. All right. Matthew, one more?
Sure. Dear Uncle Randy or Cousin Carey, I'm so introverted, but there's a cute girl who's a customer at my job. It feels wrong, but I want to ask her out. How do I do that?
Yeah, shoot your shot, brother.
Yep, that's the thing. And,
simple, but true. I think that's fair.
Yep. And here's the thing. If she's cute and available and you are intrigued, Brooke, you have to give us a female perspective, because I think Carey and I both reached the conclusion. Shoot your shot, because most women are going to say, yeah, sure, I'll go out to dinner with you or go for coffee or something like that. Female perspective on, hey, you want to go out and grab a bite to eat? What are you going to do?
Yeah, I think that that's just what you have to do. I think that women like confidence, and so if you're actually able to do that, I think it's big. And I think so many people are used to the social media connection where that stands out if you do that. And if the answer is no, then that's fine. You tried, and I think that that's more showing that you're a confident person.
Find the next cute girl.
I will give you a word of advice to this person. You have to be okay. It takes a lot of thick skin to be a man in the dating game, to try to talk to a woman. You have to have confidence, but you also have to have confidence if you're told no. You don't have to, once you're, because you're going to hear no. I mean, it's going to happen. You're going to hear no from time to time. You got to bounce back up and be ready to go again.
And if you are an introvert, you have to build that up. You have to build up the confidence, which is hard to do, but just, okay, here's what you got to do. You have to do a daily affirmation. You have to look in the mirror and you have to say, I'm good enough I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. See? There you go. And that's the kind of response you'll get. Stuart Smalley with Michael Jordan on Saturday Night Live. Okay, Michael, say this. I'm good enough. And then Michael says, I'm good enough.
Oh, yeah.
I'm smart enough. I'm smart enough. And doggone it, people like me.
There you go. Just say that. Say that before going and asking her on a date.
And that's how
It'll
Michael
work
Jordan
out.
developed his confidence.
Positive affirmations.
That clip is so fun because Michael comes close to completely breaking about 3 different times, but keeps his composure every time. He just might be the GOAT.
Just might be.
Much.
Thanks very much for your texts. We do appreciate them. Coming up, are we underestimating the importance of the bullpen in postseason baseball? That's coming your way on 101 ESPN.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Well, the top seeds in baseball are starting to claw them back as the third overall win by the higher seed happened in the MLB playoffs last night as the Astros beat the Twins 9-1. They now lead that series 2-1. On the other hand, for another 100-win team, not going so well as the Rangers jump out early and score often on the Orioles. They win that game at 7-1, and they sweep the Orioles 3-0. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your Rosen Shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
You better make sure you have a bullpen. If you don't have a bullpen, I wouldn't care if you went out and signed Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, and John Smoltz. If you don't have a bullpen, it doesn't mean anything at this point because that's the direction of the game. Now, I'm not certain if I agree with that notion. I think there should be a reward for guys who pitch more innings and keep their team in a game. I mean, now a guy can pitch 5 1/3, 5 2/3, and then turn it over to the bullpen to go get the next 4 1/3 outs. And guess what? He gets the win and a whole lot more money than 3 other guys in the bullpen.
That's our buddy Mike Claiborne yesterday here on the opening drive on 101 ESPN. And this all started back in 2011 in the NLCS. Tony La Russa allowed Jaime Garcia to pitch a 5th inning for the Cardinals. He'd gone 4, and the game kind of got away from Garcia, and the Cardinals wound up losing by a score of 9-6 as the Brewers scored 6 in the 5th inning. For the rest of that series, Tony was really quick with the hook to get a starting pitcher out of there if he got into any trouble at all. Edwin Jackson the next day goes 4 1/3. He allows just 2 runs, gets in trouble, and by the time that inning was over, Tony had used Arthur Rhodes and Lance Lynn. You move on to the next game, and the Cardinals again didn't let things get away from the starter, and this was really how it all came about because it was Carpenter who allowed 3 runs in 5 innings, and then Salas comes on, Lynn comes on, Zebchinski and Mott, and for the rest of that postseason, Tony was getting the starter out of there early and getting to his bullpen, and now, and especially because of what happened with the Indians in 2016 and being able to hang with the Cubs, now the Guardians, of course, teams believe that they need to get the starting pitcher out of there early. Yes, it is a good thing if you have the bullpen. It's not a good thing if your bullpen isn't that good. If you're a team like the Cardinals, or right now, by the way, the Texas Rangers, you need to get innings out of your starting pitcher. So it depends on how good your bullpen is as to whether or not you have the ability or the need to use your bullpen in the 3rd or 4th inning.
Yeah, I mean, starting pitching is going to be the priority for the Cardinals this offseason, and I 100% agree with that. It's going to be priority number 1, but I think that the bullpen needs to be priority 1A because you have had 28 blown saves for the Cardinals this past season with the bullpen. I know there's a lot of stuff that factors into that, but I mean, there was times where, and this is not on Oli Marmol, where who was he going to go to? You're going to go to Andre Palante again. You didn't have many options in there, especially when you moved from Jordan Hicks. Jojo Romero was a great revelation and will be a part of the bullpen moving forward.
Don't disrespect the Holy Trinity.
I will miss them. How about that? They will be missed fondly. Should we do that? Should we? Because we didn't get to say goodbye to them, really.
Andre Palante, we love you.
He'll be back.
Chris Vonderha, you were something. Casey Lawrence, we'll remember you fondly. And you know what? Let's not leave Jakub Barnes out of the mix here.
The 4 horsemen?
The 4 horsemen of the apocalypse coming. We will miss that next season for sure. But that's why the bullpen needs to be a priority because especially with the starting pitchers that you're looking at, a lot of them don't go that deep into games other than possibly Aaron Nola. But even if you look at some of the other ones, I mean, some of them didn't get past, if Blake Snell specifically, has he pitched past 7 innings this season?
No, I don't think he's gotten to a 7th. Maybe he's gotten to a 7th, but he has not.
So you need a good bullpen.
Right.
If that's going to be the type of starting pitcher that you're going to attract, even to Tyler Glasnow, CD and I were talking about him. He's had some injury history. You're going to need a strong bullpen because you don't know where that's going to go also this season. I think that getting a very strong bullpen, especially with what it looks like they're going to go for starting pitching wise, is going to have to be a huge priority for the Cardinals.
I'm looking at
Got it. 7th inning for Snell 3 times.
Oh, okay. When I'm looking at the Cardinals and what I've said it, I'll say it again. Going out, getting a couple of starting pitchers, and then using some of those younger pitchers that are supposed to be starters at some point, using them in the bullpen to get them acclimated to the big leagues, getting them acclimated to having high leverage moments where they have to perform, and then working your way up to becoming a starter. And the transition is much smoother. This has been a terrible transition over the last few years from starting pitching to what we have now. It hasn't been great, and it feels like it's been coming. It's been coming. It's on its way. But you haven't had much youth in the bullpen or guys that are being able to take those spots.
And that's a huge problem for the Cardinals right now. If they try to fix this in 1 year, and I get differing opinions from people from the sport as to whether or not the Cardinals can fix this in 1 year or if it's going to take longer. But it is essentially a young man's game. You don't see Max Scherzer pitching right now. You don't see Jacob deGrom pitching right now. You see Verlander, but he's not great. You look at the team that's cutting edge, and that was Houston and is Houston. What did they do? They found a major inefficiency in scouting pitching by going back to the Latin American fields and finding players that were beyond the age of 16 because people thought the 18-year-olds in Latin America were ancient. But here's what the Astros do. They go down and sign Christian Javier or Jose Urquidy or Luis Garcia, who are 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, and all of a sudden they're a World Series rotation. Where do the Cardinals find an inefficiency? Because I think we need to be realistic here. Even if you get Nola and Snell, let's look at the success of free agent pitchers over the last few years. If you get both of them, can you count on them? I don't think so. I think this is going to be a process for the Cardinals because most of the reason that teams are letting veteran starters get away is because they aren't very good anymore.
That's why you go get Yoshi Yamamoto.
There you go.
25 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
go get him.
Wants to pitch in the bigs. Yeah,
he's just going to cost like what?
Yeah,
$200 million.
Yeah, but here's the thing: are you going to look at this situation as a one-off? If you are, then you better look at what's working in Major League Baseball. And for the most part, when you look at the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, it's teams that have young starting pitching. Mm-hmm. Veteran starting pitching is great to have. And I want veteran starting pitching, but I also want to realize that, I'm going to realize that that's not going to be the be-all, end-all. You can't have a rotation of 30-year-olds anymore.
Well, and even look at how the Braves have been able to kind of develop things pitching-wise, specifically with their starting pitchers, with Spencer Strider being 24 years old.
And a fifth-round pick.
Yes, and the way that they were able to develop, make that situation figure out. We've talked about the Rays, the way that they've been able to, even if they do get somebody who maybe the numbers don't pop out at you, they're able to turn that around. I think a lot of it's going to be able to, or hinge on, just finding and evaluating that talent properly, because also in the minor league system, do you think that McGreevy and Gordon Graceffa, will we see them possibly in the bullpen next season?
I could see that. And by the way, you need somebody who, as a coach or as a staff, that makes young pitchers and old pitchers better.
Mm-hmm. That might be
helps.
something.
Yeah.
That helps.
Well, you look at... let's take a look at what happened, obviously, with our situation, which is the Genesis Cabrera situation. He goes and lights it up, right, for the Blue Jays. You look at Chris Stratton. He goes and lights it up after pitching poorly here. At some point, the Cardinals are going to have to be that team that turns mediocre guys into good guys. Last year, the Dodgers went out and got Yency Almonte from Colorado. Yency Almonte had a 7 ERA for the Rockies and a 1 ERA for the Dodgers. This year, they did almost the exact same thing. Let me just give you the numbers for Almonte first. 7.55 in 2021 for Colorado, 1.02 for the Dodgers in 2022. This year, he got hurt. This year, they go out and get Ryan Brazier, who, for the Red Sox this year, had an earned run average of 7.29 in 20 games. Comes to the Dodgers, an earned run average of 0.70 in 39 games for the Dodgers. So what's happening there? That the Dodgers are able to get these guys and Shelby Miller and turn them into good pitchers again. I don't know what
good
it is,
coaching,
but I want
good
some
evaluation,
of that. Yeah, evaluation and then understanding what works best for those pitchers and coaching them up.
I think that's the most important thing. I think when you have a one-size-fits-all mentality, that usually doesn't work for everybody. You have to look at the individual and figure out what they do best, how they can, get them, how you can get the most out of them in that moment. And so when you're able to do that, you're going to have more success than not.
So, yeah, the bullpen is big, but you got to know who you're getting and then what makes them tick. You just can't go get a bunch of guys and say, okay, well, he pitched okay last year here, because then all of a sudden what you've got is Chris Stratton and Genesis Cabrera and Ryan Brazier and Yency Almonte in reverse, guys that have a bunch of 1 and 2 ERAs that become 6 and 7 ERAs. Carey, Brooke, Randy, 101 ESPN. Coming up, get your text into the Air Comfort Service text line, 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. We've got Take It or Leave It next on 101 ESPN. Hey, if you are in the market for a fence or a deck, maybe a sunroom or a screen room, I want you to get in touch with my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck at 800-300-4054, on the web at chesterfieldfence.com. Chesterfield Fence and Deck started here in St. Louis in 1968. They're celebrating their 55th year in business. They've been locally owned and operated, and they did my fence in my yard, and I couldn't be happier. And they'll do great work for you. Everything they do is guaranteed by a 5-year labor warranty, and comprehensive material warranties also are provided. And all of those things, 55 years of the warranties, the care with which they do their work, has allowed them to become A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. And they've got their Randy Karraker special of the month for October. Mention this show and get 20% off your next installed outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They are amazing, and they do great work on fences, wood and cedar, decks, wood and cedar. Maybe you want to upgrade that deck to a sunroom or a screen room. They'll do great work with that. And as the winter approaches, they do windows too. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
Time for Take It or Leave It.
Want to say something? Want to put it out there? If you like it, you can take it. If you don't, send it right back.
Get your text into 314-399-9646 and give us your Take It or Leave It.
Brought to you by Gloria Lou Realty. Visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com and start packing.
That's my final offer. Take it or leave it.
Time for Tioli. Get your text in, 314-399-9646, 314-399-YO-HO. Okay, kids, the NHL started their season yesterday at 4:30 in the afternoon, St. Louis time. Take it or leave it. ESPN really cares about the NHL.
I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it. Was it on ESPN? It wasn't on NBC Sports. What were they playing on a couple of years ago?
It was, NBC Sports, which doesn't exist anymore.
Hard to find the game.
Yeah.
It was.
It was like, where is this game? And why don't they want us to watch it?
Yeah. Now, maybe they didn't want to compete against the primetime game of,
that's what I was going to say.
Of baseball. But Connor Bedard was competing against primetime baseball.
Come on, man.
He had an assist, by the way.
You don't shrink and
you
dodge.
compete.
The NHL
if you want to
still
be the king, you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah, the NHL still is kind of, I feel like, trying to get back after the fact that they didn't have that deal with ESPN, and so it just felt like you didn't get any of that coverage. I mean, if you look at the contract differences, too, between the NHL and the other professional sports leagues, there's quite a difference.
Yeah, they're in it for the Stanley Cup playoffs. But it's a bummer to start your season at 4:30 in the afternoon on a Tuesday.
And nobody's,
On a Tuesday.
no eyes, no eyeballs.
Yeah.
People still at work.
Yeah, 2:30 on the West Coast. Think about that. You got Tampa
ridiculous.
playing whoever they were playing.
So I have told you all that I think that Pittsburgh is one of the greatest sports towns in America. This is one of the only franchise where all of the teams wear the same color. They are a united front in Pittsburgh, through and through. Steelers, Pirates, Penguins, as you were talking about. During the Penguins game, as you spoke about, there was a chant that broke out during the game. It's Fire Canada.
Penguins game.
At a Penguins game.
Yeah.
Talking about firing Matt Canada. Take it or leave it. Matt Canada does not make it the entire season.
Ooh.
I'm going to reluctantly leave it. I wish he would not make it through the season, but I don't think that the Rooney family will do that.
When's the last time that they've done that?
I don't know.
Like a in-season firing.
Nah, that's not their thing. But
their quarterback coach could handle the job, by the way, Mike Sullivan. He's been with a couple of Super Bowl teams.
Maybe
with
you
the
just
Giants.
start transitioning that behind the scenes.
I don't know.
We have two Mike Sullivans.
I think they're going to have to go. They're going to have to go outside the building this offseason to find their guy.
Did you see that Byron Leftwich called them?
Did he?
He called like 3 or 4 weeks ago and said, "Hey, I'll help you out."
That would be a good. He's done it.
Yeah.
And he played in Pittsburgh. He's one of my teammates.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good quarterback, really good guy.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to leave it just for that. Maybe they just behind the scenes start transitioning things. But that was really interesting to see for the Penguins, because when I first saw it, I was like, wait, what is going on here? I was like, is there something happening in Canada? I was like, oh yeah, Matt Canada. They are upset, and
like
rightfully so. I get it.
Proud of them.
Yeah, take it or leave it, guys. I really, really like Yamamoto. And it also came out that he was able to get the NPB's Triple Crown this season for the third consecutive time. And the 25-year-old has now thrown a 1.72 ERA in 7 Japanese seasons. Take it or leave it, Yoshinobu Yamamoto is at the top of my list, but should be at the top of the Cardinals list.
I'm going to totally take it. Yes.
Go and spend the money for Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Can we just call him Yoshi
Yeah.
for fun? Yoshi Yamamoto?
I mean, they do call him.
YY?
Yeah. YY?
Yeah.
Why not get him?
right. We already had KK. We can get YY.
Yes. I just think that would be huge if the Cardinals were able to get him. I know he's going to be expensive, but I feel like it would be well worth it. The risk is worth the reward.
Yes, it is. I'm with you. Let's do it.
Makes me want to call him Yeah. I don't know, just because I'm thinking baseball and it's he's at the Sandlot. You call him YY, I just want to call him Yeah.
Yeah.
Take it or leave it. Every time Corey Seager plays in the postseason, it's another slap in the Cardinals fan base.
I will leave that. I don't know that the Cardinals were going to go $300 million on Corey Seager.
No.
You're okay.
And they did say that they were going to have Mason Wynn. Mason Wynn looks like he has quite a skill set.
He looks really good.
Yeah.
It does. And he'll come together offensively with his numbers that he was able to do in the minors. It will just take time. It's an adjustment.
Yeah.
We've got just the two worst Taylor Swift related take it or leave I've ever seen in my entire life. They're so bad.
I wasn't over here texting these in.
No, these are bad the other way. Like you weirdo incels. Take it or leave it. Travis Kelce is a sellout now because he's doing commercials. It's because he's a Swifties boy toy, isn't it?
Yeah, that happened in a hurry.
I like how you said it.
They recorded those commercials over the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
3 weeks.
That's how that works.
A lot accomplished. Yeah. Well, he was basically working 7 days a week except for Tuesdays. Yeah.
It gets worse. Take it or leave it. Taylor Swift is only famous because of Kanye West.
Oh, leave that.
She literally won the award
VMA,
for the best video of the year. That's why that thing happened.
Here's the thing, and I love Beyonce. I'm a part of the Beehive, and
thanks for telling us that.
I'm just letting you guys know I'm a part of the Beehive. I love Beyonce.
You're not a Swiftie?
I do like Taylor Swift, but I'm just not big into kind of like the poppy kind of music in that way. But that was a terrible moment. Kanye did not make her famous. She was already very, very famous.
It was ridiculous.
So I'm going to leave that. Beyonce didn't even want him to do that.
No, he wasn't feeling that good though. Poor fella.
He was struggling.
He was kind of
scuffling.
Yeah.
We didn't know it then, though.
How about that?
Yeah.
We didn't know it then.
And he did.
He said we didn't know it.
All due respect, he did go up and say, "I'm gonna let you talk." But
Brooke, you really just don't like Poppy Stadium Country, do you? Just anybody who's not just
I
classic
like
country.
what about Poppy
she's
Seed?
not classic country.
That's why you hate her, is what I'm saying.
No.
Yeah, Poppy Seed on a bun.
Poppy Seed.
Take it or leave it. Jordan Walker, 30 home runs, 100 RBI next
Take
year.
it. Yeah.
I'm going to say...
I'll be disappointed if that's how it is.
I will top out at about... I think he's going to be about a 20, just under 30. But I like the 100. I like the 100 RBIs. I like the 270 to around 290 batting average.
CD, what if he works on his launch angle this offseason?
Well, then shoot, Randy.
Well, then it's over with.
Well, then he's going to be batting 220 and hitting 40 bombs. Take it or leave it. That's what we want, right?
Yeah, I'm going to take that.
By the way, I asked a player over the weekend at the golf tournament why all these Cardinal sluggers came up with back injuries, and he said because they aren't using their legs enough. He said it's that there's too much lift and separate and not using their legs to hit enough.
Randy, what person who actually knows anything about hitting a baseball has ever come on this particular show and saying it's all from the ground up? I mean,
yeah, it's true.
Hey,
yeah.
You've never had anybody who can hit a baseball say that before?
Only 70 times in one season.
A lot of other times, too. Yeah. Take it or leave it. When he goes to the NFL, Burden will leave Missouri as the greatest wide receiver in their history.
I'm going to take it.
I mean, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take
That'd
it.
be nice.
Yeah.
Come on, Carey.
J-Mac is really good.
J-Mac is, no. I was just going to say, what list of receivers would he be competing with?
Well, Denario led the nation in receiving yards.
Okay.
In one of the years he was at Mizzou.
What round was J-Mac drafted? Was he
first
round?
overall?
18th pick.
Should have been the second pick. To the Rams.
Really?
Yeah. That was a horrible draft, 2009.
Do you think that his size will maybe hold him back a little bit? Not saying, I think he's just a little bit off
Not anymore
size.
because he can't touch the guys.
Yeah, because I mean, look, Zay Flowers.
5'10", 5'11".
Yeah,
Zay
that's true.
Flowers weighs like 170 pounds soaking wet, and no one's cracked him in half yet.
Luther's about 180, 190.
Yeah. He's bigger. He's thicker than Devonta Smith and Zay Flowers and those guys. I think he should be. He's thicker than J-Mac was. I think
He's talented enough.
J-Mac is taller. I think J-Mac is about 6'1".
That's a fair point.
Maybe listed 6'1".
I think he is. I think he's 6'6".
Okay.
Yep.
Take it or leave it. The Blues need to stop the A rotation. One captain, two alternates, end of story.
Leave it. Come on, let's respect leadership and ability here.
Disrespected.
Yeah, let's respect. Okay, who are our A's? We've got Parayko.
Justin Falk, Parayko, and Robert Thomas.
Yeah, who of those are you going to leave out? Come on.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it was the right choices.
I do too. I'm with you. Thank you, Matthew.
Wait, are the Blues alternate or assistants?
Assistant.
I want to say alternate, but I want to say alternate.
But teams
That's
differently.
Brooke,
I know,
they are
I don't like that.
alternating assistants.
wow!
Yeah.
There we go. There you go.
There you go. Coming up next on 101 ESPN, we have some news from Clark Street, but is it going to change the tune of disgruntled Cardinals fans? Maybe. It's next on 101 ESPN.
There's a whole lot of savings going on now at Staples. During Staples Sit-a-thon, you can save up to $150 on select office and desk chairs. And when you buy a chair, you save 25% on desks, storage solutions, and office accessories. Plus, your local Staples now accepts Amazon returns. And when you return an Amazon order at Staples, you receive a coupon for $10 off your next $30 Staples purchase. Now is definitely the time to save at Staples. Chair offer ends 10/28. In-store only. Exclusions apply on Amazon offer.
Welcome to What If, the show where I, Jake from State Farm, answer your insurance what-ifs. We've got a call from Millie. What's up?
Hi, Jake. What if, hypothetically, a moose gets mad at my car and rams into my windshield? Hypothetically.
Oh, just file a claim on the app. At State Farm, we're there for your what-ifs.
Great, but what if the moose eats my phone? Hypothetically.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or go to statefarm.com for a quote today.
If you're getting ready to sell your car, stop! Your car's value's at an all-time high, and hundreds of companies want to pay you less so they can make more. Get full retail value without the retail hassle at sellmycarstl.com. That's sellmycarstl.com.
I'm going to make my way over to Mentality this afternoon. And guys, if you're beyond the age of 30, you probably need to think about Mentality. Here's why. Because as you pass your 30th and 40th and 50th birthdays, your testosterone level progressively decreases. And what testosterone does is provide you the ability to have energy that gives you physical stamina to walk 18 holes or go for a run or get through a workout. And when you lose testosterone and you lose that ability, you might just start to feel a little bit fatigued. You don't need to feel that way. If you get to Mentality, they're going to do a complete panel on your blood work and find out where your testosterone level is. And then they have an FDA-approved testosterone supplemental treatment that will restore your testosterone level to where it was when you were in your 20s. They're going to work with your insurance company and provide you the lowest out-of-pocket expense possible, and it'll make a difference in your life. It will make a big difference in your life. They have clinics in both Chesterfield and in South County. Find them on the web at lowtusa.com and get started and feel like you used to feel and you want to feel with Mentality.
Bernie Federico here with my buddy, the Bellow Man. This guy scores the hat trick every time, helping you with your heating, your cooling, and your plumbing needs all season long. Turn to the experts at Carrier, and if comfort is your plan, call the Bellow Man.
Hear every St. Louis Blues game right here. WXOS HD1 East St. Louis, 101 ESPN. Perspective on the day's top stories. It's the Opening Drive's Fresh Take.
Okay, how about your Cardinals? The Cardinals, their president, Bill DeWitt III, telling the St. Louis Business Journal that the payroll will rise in the rankings this year. Of course, we know that the Padres are going to drop $50 million.
That's so funny to me.
We can,
I love that. You know what I love about it? You know what I love about it? Because what were they last year? 16?
16 or 14, something like that.
So if you go from 16 to 15, did you rise in the rankings?
If you went from 16 to 15, yes, you did.
So technically, you're not lying, are you?
No, you aren't.
But the perception would be when you say rise in the rankings, you would assume that they would be going from 16 to top 10.
Yep. And by the way, after the trades of Montgomery and Flaherty and Hicks and Cabrera and who else? They traded one other.
Stratton.
They finished the year at number 17, and they were $3 million behind Minnesota and about $9 million behind the White Sox. So this is all very difficult for me to navigate because if you should be above 17, even though the Cardinals say their revenues are down. Why are the revenues down? Well, because profits aren't as high. But It seems to me that you should try at least to effectively replace people like Jack Flaherty and Jordan Montgomery in their salaries. Just saying.
That definitely makes sense. It's really kind of confusing to read the tea leaves on what exactly is going on with the situation, because when you say that the payroll is going to increase, but in a way of like rising in the rankings, that's the part that I'm trying to decipher on what exactly that means. What does that mean to you guys?
To me, it means they're going to go from, so league average is 14, 15, and they're going to go from 17 to about 14. A few spots.
Great.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
But figure you took, how much did you take off? Because you probably, and Waino's leaving too.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of money to spend, I guess. 17 for Waino, 27, 33 with the other two starters. Probably you're north of $40 million that you have to spend on free agents.
So their salary, if I'm correct, is like 153 million right now at the end of the season.
Yeah.
What number? So where are we going to be? 180? We're not going to be above 200. So
no.
Let's get that out of our mind. So it won't be.
But Yamamoto,
we won't be top 10. So again, where are we at? 170. 170. That's $15 million more.
Yeah, the Cardinals
had $17 million that you left over for Wainwright.
Yeah. So the Cardinals were 15th among the teams with a payroll of $175 million. As you mentioned, some of the numbers come on the books. That includes Jordan Montgomery and Adam Wainwright. And who else am I missing?
Jack
coming
Flaherty?
Off the books.
Yeah,
Jack Flaherty. Oh, and Jack Flaherty.
And Hicks was like 4 or something like that. So, yep. Pretty substantial.
So 4 pitchers that you're not paying right now. And you want me to...
And Verhagen is not going to be here.
Okay. How much was he making? About $1 million?
2.5, I think.
Okay.
Maybe 2.6.
So 5 pitchers, and you got to replace a few starters. And you want me to believe that they're gonna increase the payroll to a degree where we actually say, oh yeah, that was a drastic shift.
No, I don't think that's happening.
So when you say the words, we're going to, and they said it last year, right?
They said the payroll is going to go up, and now they say it's going to.
And it did.
Yep.
But not to the point where you were like, oh yeah. It was just like
where it was exciting, flashy.
It went up.
Yes.
So the words, you have to pay very close attention to the words that are being said. If there are no numbers being attached to it, if they're not saying, yeah, we're going to increase the payroll by $30-40 million this year, I'm just going to say we're going to increase the payroll.
They say climb the payroll rankings is the specific quote. 17
to 16 is climbing the payroll rankings, is it not?
Yeah, it is. You're right.
Yeah, it's just not exactly as what I think that people want to hear. Now, the big thing is that they do say that they are supposedly in agreement. Everybody's in agreement that starting pitching needs to be the priority, and that's what Bill DeWitt III says in the St. Louis Business Journal article. But the biggest thing is talking about that rising in the rankings, but also that they are expecting the revenue to decrease. And when you kind of factor that into the conversation, then I think that also is like, oh, that's a tad bit concerning.
Here's another thing that we don't know, but they could rise in the rankings simply by giving Jordan Walker a 7-year, $100 million contract.
There you go. That could boost that number up.
Yeah,
that would help.
Right. So,
but it's not again.
And by the way, if they do what we suggested last week, sign Edman, Walker,
Brendan Donovan,
Brendan, all of those kids to substantial contracts like the Braves have done, you can rise in the rankings, but have the same team basically.
Yeah, but that doesn't. Again, that doesn't. See, it's about the words. The perception. It's about the words. The perception is when you say we're gonna rise in the rankings of overall salary. That's the perception is what you think that means is we're going to go spend $30 million on Aaron Nola or Blake Snell or Yamamoto. We're going to go spend some money outside of this clubhouse. Not that we're going to give Jordan Walker a new deal and now we're right. We did raise.
You know what he needs to talk about is reaching, not approaching, but reaching their puke point where they have to spend so much money that they literally have to throw up.
It's $200 million.
And then we need video.
I think it's 190.
And then you need video
it's 190.
Yeah,
I could see maybe 190.
I think 190 is the point where they begin to throw up to themselves.
You're talking about the pew point.
Yeah, that's the point where
Bill said also that revenues are down.
And that's the point that I keep looking at is why was that mentioned kind of in conjunction with the rest of what they're talking about with climbing the rankings? Because to me, that's almost like you're prepping fans with, okay, just so you guys know, though, the revenue is going down. So to me, when you're putting that together, the perception, as you're talking about, CD, the perception looks like that you're kind of preparing people for something.
An old business adage that you have to spend money to make money.
Yeah. Can I ask a question? Why would the revenue be down this year?
Oh, Matthew's got his hand raised.
Because there's issues with your broadcasting partner.
Oh
no, that's not it.
That's not it. What about you, Randy? What do you think?
I would suggest that if your product starts to deteriorate, that people aren't as inclined to spend on said product.
So in order to get more revenue, you as you said, you got to spend more money. And have better players.
Spend money to make money.
Okay.
And that's the big thing is that we can talk about this all day, but it's going to be up to the season ticket holders. It's going to be up to the fans that really get the message across to the ownership group and to the Cardinals in general that you don't want to see this happen again. Is to continue to push them. We keep talking about it, but the fans showing or not showing up, I guess is the way to phrase it, not showing up to games, that is what's going to send a clear message and start to really hit home with the ownership group. Because right now, if you see those comments as a fan, I'm just curious, if you're debating about if you're getting season tickets or not, you hear those comments. Do you have some concerns about if you want to spend your money on that next season?
And people don't even know when the invoices came out. So, yeah, you have to question that. And the other thing the Cardinals have run into is that they do run it as a business. Well, in recent years, the Wilpon family they were swindled by Bernie Madoff. So the Mets ownership until a couple of years ago wasn't really well heeled and didn't spend money. The Philadelphia ownership, they ran theirs as a business. Then they get John Middleton as their owner and Dave Dombrowski as their president of baseball operations, and all of a sudden their owner's saying, we'll spend stupid money. The Padres get Peter Seidler as their main owner, and he says, I don't care how much money we spend. We aren't going to do it as a business. We've never had a championship in our city. That's my goal, is to win a championship in the city. So all of a sudden, you had a group of franchises that did treat their baseball franchise as a business. Now they treat it as a toy to have fun with and try to go win with. And the Cardinals are still in the mode of running a business. And they're still, by the way, out-revenued by at least a dozen teams in the league.
Do you I mean, obviously you gotta spend money to make money, but at some point you're going to make that money back when you have a product on the field that is very good.
If you're really good, then the value of your franchise goes up.
Correct. So, like, the Golden State Warriors are in the luxury tax every single year because of all the money that they spend, but that franchise's worth has risen over the last 10 years tremendously.
And the winning is more important to Joe Lacob than the dollars are.
Yeah, and if he does decide to, sell at some point.
Oh,
he's made more
off the charts money.
There you go.
Yep. That is today's Fresh Take here on 101 ESPN. Coming up, we're going to talk some Blues hockey with Jamie Rivers. He'll make his debut as a regular season full-time Blues analyst tomorrow night on Bally Sports. That's coming your way on 101 ESPN.
You can pretty much find a job anywhere, but finding a lifelong career can be much more difficult. You like working with your hands? Working in different environments? Having options for different kinds of work within your career? Then the Construction Craft Laborers Union of Missouri may be for you. Don't just settle for a job. Build a career. Build a future. Build a legacy. Go to buildunion.com for more information. That's buildunion.com.
Hey, the Blues are going to have a great party before they start their season on Saturday, and If you want to make some plans and you want to make parking easier and life easier, you should think about taking Metrolink. You can go on over to one of their many stations and park there, free parking, and then it's a $5 round trip to go back and forth from Enterprise Center back to where your car is parked. It makes life so easy to use Metrolink. And you know what? Metrolink is really vital to the viability to attract big companies to St. Louis. We have another big company moving to St. Louis, thanks to Dave Peacock. And a big part of the success of any region is to have good transit and good public transportation. I was in Atlanta over the weekend, and the MARTA is great, and it goes all over the place, and it really does help people get from point A to point B easily and efficiently. And if you value safety, well, the Metro has security measures in place to ensure the safety of every single passenger. Don't let preconceived notions about Metro hold you back. Give Metro a chance and experience the benefits for yourself. In short, thanks to Metro, you don't have to drive to thrive.
This is the opening drive on 101 ESPN. Brought to you by Sumner One. We are talking everything St. Louis Blues as we head into the Blues booth. Presented by Boardwalk Hardwood Floors, a proud partner of your St. Louis Blues. Find your perfect new floor at our 4 convenient locations and online at boardwalkhardwood.com.
Brooke Grimsley, Carey Davis, Randy Karraker, the opening drive, 101 ESPN. The Blues open their 2023-2024 campaign tomorrow night against the Dallas Stars in Dallas before opening against the Seattle Kraken on Saturday night at Enterprise Center. That'll be their home opener. Joining us now is our partner here at 101 ESPN, co-host of The Fast Lane with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, who's going to start his full-time career as the Blues analyst on Bally tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. Jamie, good morning. How you doing?
Good, guys. How you doing?
Outstanding. And good luck. We're looking forward to hearing from you tomorrow night.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a tough game. Dallas Stars are projected to be one of the best teams in the conference this year, so not an easy start for the Blues, that's for sure.
Jamie, congratulations. I have some other news that I need to discuss with you. You all invited me to be a part of this Pick'em Challenge, the Riz Show versus the Fast Lane. I am the 5th member. Right now, we have lost 2 in a row. And, BT and Marsh, I'm about to call a players-only meeting, and we're going to get this thing corrected because if we keep losing, it's going to be a problem here.
Yeah, we had a little talk with Marshy yesterday. He's a good kid, obviously a very handsome young man, great hair. I'm somewhat jealous, but I think sometimes Marshy gets a little emotional with his picks. Like no matter what, he sticks with the Vikings. Yeah. Like he picked the Vikings over the Chiefs. And,
shouldn't do that.
We got to use our head, not our heart, at times. And Marshy took 2 shots from the airsoft gun yesterday.
Okay.
I believe it left the right impression on Andrew that he'll be picking better in the future.
All right, thank you. So no players-only meeting required. I got you.
No, we closed the door yesterday. It was players only, coaches out, trainers are welcome to join, But we took care of it.
All right, good. Jamie, when you're looking at this team tonight, tomorrow night, what are your expectations for this Blues team for the 23-24 season?
Well, look, like I just said earlier, Dallas Stars have a heck of a team. There are a lot of people that are picking them to be Stanley Cup contenders this year. So it's going to be a big test. What I'm looking to see from the St. Louis Blues is a team that's hard to play against. And, Carey, you know this from your time in the NFL. Like, there's teams where you play them and they're not hard to play against. You're not worried about playing against that team. But there's other teams that you might be better than, but you hate playing against them because you know it's going to be a war out there. And so I'm looking for the Blues to become a team that nobody wants to play against because they get in there on the forecheck, they finish their hits, they're hard on the pucks, they play tough defensively, they don't make mistakes in the defensive zone. It's a long night for you. So for me, that's the identity I want of this team is that nobody really wants to play them.
Jamie, I know it's just preseason, but is there any big differences that you have noticed defensively, especially with the defensive unit with the Blues going into this season?
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because you got a different mix of guys in the lineup every other night in preseason. But the one thing I will say is that watching them practice and then watching them in the games as well, there's a way more commitment on the defensive side, a bigger attention to detail to take away the middle of the ice, specifically in the defensive zone. They're stacking the house, that area right in front of the net where they gave up a lot of goals last year. They're making sure that there's coverage there, sometimes 2 and 3 layers of defensive coverage to make sure that they're not giving up those easy goals or at least those easy opportunities. So for me, that's the biggest thing I've noticed is, one, the level of competition in practice, and then the level of commitment to taking away the middle of the ice.
Jamie, can you talk about the difference in the defensive style? I mean, I think, was it last year was more of a man-to-man? They had a guy and then get back to the net, and this year is more of a zone style where you said you have those 3 defenders in front of the net protecting him and not allowing the goaltender to face as many shots?
Yeah, so last year was, I wouldn't call it man-to-man, but what it was really was they tried to eliminate the puck play as quick as possible. So all that meant was whoever was closest to the play, go and eliminate the play. Try and close out the play as fast as possible. Well, what happens then is sometimes you leave the spot where the puck is going to be for the spot where the puck is currently, and that leaves nobody covered in front of the net or the guy that's maybe available for the opposition. This year it's a little more patient. It's, they've cut the zone basically into 4 squares, and whenever the puck comes into your area, you're the aggressor to go after the puck. But then the forward who's playing down low is your support system. So that if for some reason there's a breakdown, the offensive player would have to go through the first player, then the second player, who is the support guy, and then the third player who's stationed in front of the net. So there'd be no vacating the front of the net just to close out plays faster, which might look weird at times because teams might establish a little bit longer offensive zone time, but it's not dangerous offensive zone time. It's almost like you go ahead and have the puck out there. You can skate around the outside all you want because it's not dangerous. And when you try to come to the middle of the ice, we're going to stop you, take the puck, and go the other way.
Jamie, what sort of element does Kevin Hayes bring to this team? It seems, if I'm going to make a comp, and it's not, I don't think it's completely valid, but from a size standpoint and what he does standpoint, there's a little David Backes there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of David. I think it's a David Backes when you look at him, but it's a lot of a Pat Maroon, too, when you get him behind closed doors and in the locker room on the planes and things like that. I mean, he's a really good player. He's a big guy. He possesses the puck extremely well, but he's also a real fun guy. He lightens up the atmosphere for the guys. There's a veteran presence in the locker room. It's just a difference maker. Randy, you've got those people that, even in the work world, where when you show up for work, you're like, that guy's always in a good mood, or he always makes me laugh. Like, no matter how crappy my day is, that guy makes me feel better.
That's you, by the way. That's you here at 101 ESPN.
Well, I appreciate that. That's kind of was my role too as a player. A little bit of a shrink in the locker room for some of these guys. But Kevin Hayes possesses that ability. He guys can't wait to get to the room to say hi to Kevin Hayes or to talk to him. And he just he adds an element of calmness to everybody.
Jamie, what do you think about the rest of the Central Division? And I know that obviously you're going to want to see the Blues finish up on top, but realistically, where do you see the Blues panning out in the Central Division?
Well, if I'm being realistic, the Avalanche and the Dallas Stars are, in my opinion, not a game played yet, but they're the two top teams in the division, and then there's the others type thing. So what I see from the Blues, though, is if they can put together the season like they expect to and like we think they can, I think there's no reason the Blues can't finish third in this division. And I know there's a lot of national people that, with all their awesome rankings based off of, well, I don't even know what, have them lower in the division, and some of the rankings have them lower in the league overall. I don't agree with that. I think that if this team plays to its potential, and of course that's if, they're a third-place team in the Central Division. And if that's the case, you got yourself in the playoffs, and you have a couple of things going for you there. You've got the Stanley Cup champion still on your roster, and you got a guy named Jordan Binnington who thrives in the playoffs. So I see them as a third-place team.
That was who I was going to ask you about, is Jordan Binnington. What have you seen from him this preseason? What is his mindset like going into this opening night?
Oh, it's like, you doubted me? You'll see. You doubted me? You'll see. Oh, you want to go with the numbers, guys, eh? Okay, you'll see. This is a guy that's motivated right now. I'm watching him. He's dialed in. And one thing about Jordan Binnington is from the moment he stepped into the NHL, where he had his ups and downs and all around the minors and all over the place, he has this chip on his shoulder that if you don't believe in me, I'm going to prove you wrong. And that's what I see right now. Remember the movie Rocky? He's got the eye of the tiger.
Yeah.
Right? He's ready to go, man. I have nothing but confidence in Jordan Binnington. I think he's a hell of a competitor, and I think he's a really good goalie. I think we're in good hands with him.
Finally, Jamie, have you been hot in the gauntlet lately? I know that the last time I listened to you, you'd been pretty hot. Are you staying hot?
Yeah, I've had a pretty good run. I did have a speed bump not too long ago. We had a football day, Terry, and I felt bad because I got 1 point.
Oh, no.
Lost my team. But football's been my second strongest category, so I think I've got 2 losses in the last 12 gauntlets.
There we go. See, that is hot. You're rocking and rolling. Well, have fun. Have a good trip to Dallas, and we'll be tuned in tomorrow night with you and John Kelly on Bally Sports.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot, man. You guys have a great day.
You too, brother. That's Jamie Rivers, our co-host of the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN and analyst for Blues hockey on Bally Sports. So now we've got BT doing analysis for the Cardinals on Bally from 101, and Jamie doing analysis for the Blues on Bally. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Busy, yeah. Busy. I don't know how they do it. I would be sleeping
No, BT just quit.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's how he did it.
So how does Jamie do it? Jamie is just invincible. Doesn't he sleep? Yes.
He'll quit too.
I can't.
Well, am I wrong? No. Well, okay. The fight is next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey here from my friends at Window Nation. Fall is the best time of the year. There's so much to love about the fall, especially the return of Window Nation's best offer of the year. Get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy, plus put no money down, make no payments, and pay no interest for 2 years. If your windows are hard to open or close, or if they're drafty or leaky, well, now's the time to call Window Nation. Take care of it now before the cold weather hits. You want to get it done. Call 866-90-NATION or go online at windownation.com. New windows can save you up to 30% on your energy bills. As I said, it'll keep the cold air out, keep the hot air in. If your windows are drafty or they're leaky, if they don't open or close properly, well, you definitely need new windows, and Window Nation can help you with that. Window Nation has installed nearly 2 million windows, making them one of the top window companies in the country with a 96% satisfaction rate. Call them today, 866-90-NATION, or go online at windownation.com and tell them Carey sent you.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Last night, we got a final in one of the playoff series as the Rangers beat up on the Orioles 7-1 early, and often they sweep that series 3-0. They will now travel to their first ALCS since 2011. Also, last night, the Astros take a 2-1 lead in their series against the Twins with a big 9-1 win. And we have a triple header tonight in MLB baseball, starting off with the Braves and Phillies Game 3. That series is tied at 1 game apiece, 4:07 first pitch today. Astros and Twins is the middle game, Game 4 again. Astros lead 2-1, and then the Dodgers and the Diamondback, as the Dodgers will look to avoid getting swept with the late night game, 8:07 first pitch. That is your Sports Center update, brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Welcome back to the opening drive. I'm Carey Davis, joined by Brooke Grimsley, and it is time for the fight. And our fighter today is Jeff. Jeff, how you doing?
All right. How about yourself?
Doing well. Are you ready to take on Randy Karraker?
Sure am.
All right, here we go. Corey Seager has reached base safely 3+ times in 5 consecutive games. That ties the longest streak in a single postseason in Major League Baseball history, which 2013 Red Sox set the mark against the Cardinals. Is it Dustin Pedroia, Mike Napoli, or David Ortiz?
Justin Pedroia.
Albert Pujols is not the only Cardinal to have a 6 RBI game in a postseason game. Which Cardinals outfielder also notched 6 in one game? Was it Reggie Sanders, Larry Walker, or Lance Berkman?
Larry Walker.
One Cardinal has hit a grand slam in the World Series. Who was it? Orlando Cepeda, Julian Javier, or Ken Boyer?
Ken Boyer.
Kevin Hayes was drafted by the Blackhawks in the first round, but played the first 4+ years of his career with which Eastern Conference team? Was it the New Jersey Devils, New York Rangers, or Florida Panthers?
The Rangers.
All right, we'll double check our score, and we will bring in Randy Karraker.
Jeff, how you feel?
Got one right.
You sounded pretty confident on the last two. You answered those pretty quickly. Was hockey and baseball what you were looking for?
No, just hockey.
Got you. Randy is coming back. He's been off for a couple of days.
Yeah.
He might not be as mentally sharp as
I might not.
He's and he doesn't have anything to drink in his
I
hand.
had a little Propeller while I was out there.
By the way, the bearded brain obviously did a fantastic job.
I tried.
To keep it going.
Yeah. I tried.
Proud of you.
Yep, did it Randy Karraker style.
Thank you.
Randy, say hello to Jeff.
Jeff, good morning. How you doing?
All right. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. Thanks for listening. Thanks for playing.
All right, Randy, you ready?
Ready.
Here we go. Corey Seager has reached base safely 3+ times in 5 consecutive games. That ties the longest streak in a single postseason in Major League Baseball history, which 2013 Red Sox set the mark against the Cardinals.
Seems like that would be David Ortiz.
No.
I'll go with that. Oh, man. Unbelievable. Come on, Mike. You're better than that. Mike with the end.
Albert Pujols is not the only Cardinal to have a 6 RBI game in a postseason game. Which Cardinals outfielder also notched 6 in one game?
6 RBIs in one postseason game. I will do the lifeline here, Brooke. I'm going to have a guess, but I'm not going to reveal my guess unless his name is on the list.
Okay. Reggie Sanders, Larry Walker, or Lance Berkman?
Okay, so I will tell you that my guess was going to be Jim Edmonds. And so Reggie Sanders, Jim Edmonds, or Reggie Sanders, Lance Berkman, or Larry Walker. Is this with the Cardinals that he accomplished this feat?
Yes.
Okay. So Berkman, I'm going to go Reggie. I'm going to say that Reggie did it.
One Cardinal has hit a grand slam in the World Series. Who was it?
Ken Boyer.
Final question. Kevin Hayes was drafted by the Blackhawks in the first round, but played the first 4+ years of his career with which Eastern Conference team?
Hazy, before he went to Winnipeg, he played with Philadelphia last. Hold on here. Let me think about this. Rangers.
All right, we have a winner in today's fight.
Oh, what's going on over there?
Just have to make sure a sounder's ready. Excuse me, Carey.
You stepped away.
Well, I can't talk in the mic and
we need a longer microphone.
The same thing. We need a longer microphone.
You need one of those microphones with the cord.
Just like the skinny one, like I'm Bob Barker.
Yeah.
Ryder, please make that happen. Yes. That would make me insane. No, don't shake your head at me. That would be amazing.
You're the one.
God, okay. Well, we have a winner in today's fight. Come on down. Ring that bell.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
The winner and still champion of the fight, Randy Karraker.
You heard Mr. Buck. That means Randy Karraker hit the jack in today's fight. I'm sorry, Jeff. You fall 4-2 in this edition of the fight.
Well, thanks anyways.
No
Thank
problem.
you very
Hey,
much.
Thanks so much for joining the show. Corey Seager has reached base safely 3+ times in 5 consecutive games. That ties the longest streak in a single postseason in MLB history. I honestly couldn't believe when I saw this stat that Ortiz actually did all 5 games against the Cardinals. But ladies and gentlemen, games 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. David
Once he
Ortiz
started walking him.
Well, yes, and in fact, it's one of those games he has 3 hits. 3 of the games he has 2 hits and a walk, and then one game he has 4 walks. That was obviously the last game
Nobody was hitting
of the
behind
World
him.
Series.
Just put him on base.
So it was in fact David Ortiz. I mean, it's unbelievable. Those 5 games he got on base 17 times. Unreal. Albert Pujols is not the only Cardinal to have a 6 RBI game in a postseason game. It was in fact Reggie Sanders in the 2005 NLDS. He hit a grand slam, just one of 3 postseason grand slams in Cardinals history to pace himself for that 6 RBI. But that was not in a World Series. The only Cardinal to hit a grand slam in a World Series is in fact Ken Boyer. Randy, do you know which World Series it was?
1964.
1964. Today, on this day in 1964, in fact, Ken Boyer launched that 4-run or round tripper, the second ever by a National League player in World Series history to pace the Cardinals for an eventual World Series win. And Kevin Hayes, drafted by the Blackhawks in the first round, but played the first 4.5 years of his career with which Eastern Conference team? It was, in fact, the New York Rangers. Does anyone know he also has played for a Central Division team?
Winnipeg Jets, eh?
It was, in fact, getting
Against the Blues.
traded from the Winnipeg Jets, from the Rangers to the Winnipeg Jets for 1/2 of a season before he went off to Philadelphia. So a 4-2 win for Randy Karraker in the fight. Again, thank you so much for joining the fight and joining the show today, Jeff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. By the way, in that 5-game World Series, Ortiz hit 2 home runs. Stephen Drew hit 1. Johnny Gomes hit 1. Those were the only home runs that the Red Sox got. In that World Series, Ortiz drove in 6. Mike Napoli drove in 4, hitting 154 in the series. Shane Victorino drove in 4, also hitting 154 in the series. And Gomes drove in 3, hitting 118 in the series. They allowed Big Papi to keep hitting. They didn't walk him. He hit 688. His batting average in the series was 688. Jacoby Ellsbury was their number 2 hitter in the series, batting average of 250. He went 6 for 24. Then Bogarts hit 238. Pedroia hit 208. David Ross hit 188. Drew 158. Napoli and Victorino 154. He was the only guy that was hitting, yet they kept pitching to him.
Do you think analytics is against walking people?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Putting people on base.
Yeah,
so therefore, you just throw to them and let them hit as many as possible.
As BT mentioned many times during that series, you haven't seen my fastball.
Randy, in Game 3, they walked him twice. The 4-hitter for the Red Sox was Daniel Nava. Why did you not walk him 3 or 4 times? Why did you ever let him hit the ball in that game? It's unbelievable what he did in that series.
Too much pride.
I didn't think. I was like, no, he had a good 2013, but he didn't get all 5 against the Cardinals. Nope, games 2 through 6. There it is.
Yeah. Had a lot of things happen in that series, but that was just bad. It was just bad. Coming up next on 101 ESPN, we've got our Rush Hour Reset. Hey, it's Hump Day, and it's one of my favorite special days over at the Fenton Bar and Grill on Rudder Road in Fenton. Wednesday, you can get the trash tenders tossed in their signature golden sauce. It's delicious, and it's over mac and cheese. You talk about a decadent but comfort food lunch. It's that, and it's absolutely fantastic at the Fenton Bar and Grill. It's just $14.95 today. Stop by, say hi to Alicia and Ashley and Megan and Kelly and Colleen and the gang. They're a great group to be around, and they're a lot of fun, and they'll make you smile. And when you go to the Fenton Bar and Grill, you're going to be talking sports. It's going to be a great time with you and your buddies or the people sitting at the bar. And the cool thing about the Fenton Bar and Grill is that they have the best wings in town. Their trashed wings are absolutely unbelievable. I have missed them since I've been out of town since last week, so I need to get to the Fenton Bar and Grill. Enjoy the weekly specials. By the way, tomorrow, meatloaf with your choice of two sides every single day is wonderful at the Fenton Bar and Grill. Easy to get to. Just set your GPS and head on over to their Rudder Road location. Learn more at FentonBarandGrill.com and tell them Randy sent you.
Recapping the biggest sports stories of the day on the opening drive with a Rush Hour Reset.
Blues Poho Doug Armstrong is going to have a press conference to discuss the roster construction of the 2023-2024 Blues. It's coming up at 10 o'clock, and we'll air it live here at 10 here on your home of the Blues, 101 ESPN. Baseball. Last night, the Twins take the lead in the series, or the Astros take the lead in the series against the Twins with a 9-1 rout. Christian Javier with a terrific performance for Houston. Sonny Gray, a not so terrific performance for the Twins. And the final was 9-1. Meanwhile, the Rangers eliminated the Orioles, who had won 101 games during the regular season. Texas wins the series 3-0. Former Cardinal Adolis Garcia with a big 3-run homer. Yeah, it was a bomb. Yeah, pretty good. And Nathan Eovaldi, who, by the way, Brooke was on the Nathan Eovaldi bandwagon a long time ago.
I was, because he, 2 years, $34 million, I believe, was his contract with the Rangers. That was definitely in the Cardinals' wheelhouse of what they could have gone starting pitching-wise.
Yeah, could have, should have. He's got a postseason pedigree. And he goes 7 innings. He allows 1 run on 5 hits, doesn't walk anybody, strikes out 7, and he's a postseason stud. Eovaldi is, and the Rangers will play in the ALCS, presumably against a Houston team that's managed by Dusty Baker. The Rangers managed by Bruce Bochy. That's 4 world championships among those two managers.
And that's why, to me, Bruce Bochy has been worth every single penny that the Rangers spent to get him there. Even if you looked at the way that he was able to turn things around, a 22-win turnaround for the Rangers this season, his first year as a manager, and guiding Texas to its first postseason appearance in 7 years. And the biggest thing, too, is how he just navigated everything this season. This is why sometimes I don't like when the excuses of injuries come up, and I know that we heard some of the Cardinals say that this season. The Rangers went through a lot of different injuries this season. If you look specifically at your big pitcher that you signed, $185 million, just 6 starts into the season. He deals with a season-ending injury in DeGrom. And then you also had Max Scherzer acquired at the trade deadline, but then he was not available for this first series. He likely will be available possibly for this next series. But the way that he was able to navigate that and push the right buttons, and then putting Mitch Garver in the 3-hole and that working out, you saw it work out last night. He was able to spark things off, and then you saw Adolis Garcia follow up right afterwards. Being able to push the right buttons in those situations, that's where experience pays off. Having been there, done that, you're seeing that pay off in the postseason. You see that throughout history, but also right now in the playoffs, I think it's really key. And I like to what Max Scherzer, he was interviewed after the game last night by Ken Rosenthal. He talked about Bruce Bochy and how he thinks of him as a manager.
I've gotten to play for, I'm so lucky, I've gotten to play for so many old school managers, and Bochy's just got his own personality, and he's never, he never gets too high, never gets too low. He's a calming presence, and it's just the team vibes with that. The team gets it, and he pushes the right buttons for us, and he gets us to play our best baseball.
You think players like playing for old school managers?
Sounds like it.
No, because it's about people.
Sounds like it.
It's not. They aren't expected to be robots. They're expected to be people. And old school managers, especially a guy like Bochy who played, and not to take anything away from Brian Snitker, who's been a manager for 40 years, but they understand that occasionally a guy's going to show up with a hangover.
Okay, true. And your sheet won't tell you that. I asked that because if you are in upper management and you want a company that runs well, you think that having people that work for you doing what they do best, having, going about their day and having fun, enjoying their work environment, it would make it easier to have more success than not. Just knowing exactly where you're going to be, what's going on. I was looking at it was interesting. I wrote it down. I wish I could find it. Last week I was looking at this because we were talking about the Braves and how many games their players had played all season long, and so just the number of games that they played at the current position that they're playing in, they all played. Matt Olson played every game at first base. Yeah. How about that? Ozzie Albies. Where am I at? No. Arcia. Yeah, Albies played all 148 at second base.
Yep.
Arcia played 139, all at shortstop. It's amazing how being familiar with your job and doing it every single day, how good you can become at it when you have more reps. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think too buys into knowing your players. That's where that gut comes in. Knowing your players, know what works for them so that you know when to push the right buttons, and having that trust and confidence build. I understand, the competition. There's always competition, right? You always know that there's another guy coming up who is looking to take your job, or there's even guys in the clubhouse who are ready to take your job right now, just waiting for the moment that you fail or you get injured to take your spot. But there's something also about just going out there and saying, no, you're my guy for this position. You're my guy for this position. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about it. Kind of like what they did. Remember what they did with Nolan Gorman and Dylan Carlson when they were talking about possibly trading them, and how much that meant to them, where it's like, okay, I don't have to worry about that in the back of my mind.
Right. It is interesting, by the way, to go back to the Scherzer comment. He played for Bob Melvin as a rookie in Arizona. Then he goes to Detroit and he plays for Jim Leland. Then he goes to Washington where he plays for Dusty and also plays for a Joe Madden disciple and Davey Martinez. Then he goes to the Dodgers for that cup of coffee with Dave Roberts. But then he's with Buck Showalter and now Bruce Bochy. You talk about old school managers. That's like a gauntlet. That's a lot of World Series right there too.
It is.
It's pretty cool.
Experience pays off.
It has for those guys. And hey, it's interesting with a guy like Brian Snitker, and this is taking nothing away from Ollie, but Brian Snitker has been a manager in the Brave system for 40 years. Ollie is 37 years old. So he's just got an experience edge.
Yes.
It's just a fact. It's not that he's going to be any better or worse, but Snitker has an experience edge over pretty much everybody that he's managing against.
You don't know what you don't know, but it's important to have people that do know around you, people that can assist and help you, guide you, and be the person to push back on something if you're doing something that may not make sense or may not be the right decision. It's invaluable. You have to have those people in your organization to help your manager, especially if he's a younger manager in the league, just figuring things out. It helps him and it helps you.
and building that trust. I just think about, have you guys been following everything that has happened with the Blue Jays ever since that they've been knocked out? Just all the drama that has followed after Schneider's decision to take out Barrios. I mean, it has been
turning on each other.
Well, and then supposedly now the reports are coming out of the clubhouse is that the players didn't agree. So if you're not on the same page about everything, I think that says a lot to it. I know that it's like, oh, well, duh, they all should be communicating, but it doesn't seem like that. And if you're not communicating and everybody's not on the same page, it's easy to see how things fall apart.
And Brooke, you sent us an interesting piece about Rob Thompson taking out Ranger Suarez in their first game. And he told everybody except Ranger Suarez that he was going to take him out, the first sign of trouble. And they got away with it. They got lucky. Yeah. And obviously the guys in Toronto did wind up
communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah, except with everyone except for the guy that you don't want to be thinking about it.
Yeah.
Hey, you going 7 today. We're going to take him out.
Yeah, we don't
third inning. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Hey, everybody, we don't trust him. Just don't tell him.
I hope that's
Keep
not
it a
what
secret.
it was.
I think that's what it was.
I hope that's not it. I hope it was more along the lines of, we do trust him, but we only want him to do this. That's how you spin it if you're the coach.
Yeah, right.
So we trust you.
That's the way you sell it.
Yeah,
but it's not true.
You got to make it. You got to make him feel like it's true. Otherwise, you lose him for the rest of the season.
And I think that going back, that's another thing about old school managers. Look at the way Snicker treated Max Fried the other night when they came back and won. A lot of managers take Max Fried out after an inning or an inning and a third. He gets an opportunity to get his pitches in. They allow him to get things straightened out. Then they're able to preserve the bullpen. And I know a lot of people think that Philadelphia has an advantage tonight. And by the way, we're going to air the Diamondbacks game. But Philly plays at 4 o'clock against Atlanta. And
who you got?
I kind of like Bryce Elder and the Braves because their bullpen is more preserved.
I like Philly.
Nola's really good at home.
Dangerous.
I think that we thought it'd be a great series when it started, and I think it shapes up as a great series. And every game
such
shapes
a great
up.
series.
Yeah.
Yes.
And two old school guys, by the way, in Rob Thompson of Philadelphia and Brian Snicker of Atlanta. All right, there's your Rush Hour Reset. Robert Thomas, Blues Center, next on 101 ESPN. If you're considering selling your home, selecting the right agent to sell your home is the single most important factor. That's why you need to call Gloria Lou. She's the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Imagine needing heart surgery. Would you choose a surgeon who performs hundreds of successful surgeries a year, or one with minimal experience and mediocre success rates? Selling your home is like doing open heart surgery on your finances, and that's why I only recommend Gloria Lou. Her name is her promise, and it says it all. Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria's mastered the home selling promise by guaranteeing upfront and in writing to sell your home at your agreed to price and time frame, or she'll buy it herself, guaranteed. Does your agent compare? Gloria has solutions for every type of home seller. For sellers who want a fast sale with no hassles, Gloria's 24-hour cash offer solution is a great option to consider. No showings, no costly repairs, and you pick the closing date. You always get the highest cash offer bid from Gloria's database of buyers in what she calls her cash offer bid box. Call Gloria today, 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Inside the Blues locker room. What a goal by Robert Thomas! It's time now for Blues forward Robert Thomas on the opening drive.
Driven by Pure Performance, the only stop for all your aftermarket vehicle needs.
With Brooke Grimsley and Super Bowl champ Carey Davis, I'm Randy Karraker, and the Blues start tomorrow night here on your home with the Blues, 101 ESPN. They will be in Dallas. And joining us now, as he did last year during the week and will again in 23-24, is Blues center Robert Thomas. Good morning, sir. Happy New Year. How you doing?
Doing well, guys. How are you?
Good. How do you like opening night of the NHL season? Is it just like any other game, or is it special?
No, it's pretty special. Something everyone's always looking forward to. You don't, especially when you don't make the playoffs last year. It's been a long time since we've had a real game, and we're so excited about it.
Robert, how did the bonding trip, I guess it's still technically kind of going on, but how did the bonding trip go for you guys? And what do you guys exactly do on these bonding trips to really help build up some more chemistry before the season starts?
Yeah, it's really important to have everyone together, away from everything, and just have some time together, whether it's just sitting around the campfire or stuff like that, golf and different things, just to have everyone together. It really helps chemistry on the ice, and even just in practice yesterday and will be today, you can kind of see it coming along. So it's super important.
You mentioned golf there. I know that you participated in the Ascension Charity Classic. Honestly, who is the best golfer out of everybody on the team?
We've got some good golfers. Schenner's pretty good. Kapanen's probably my pick for the best right now. He's kicked my butt a couple times.
And Robert, we were talking to Jamie Rivers earlier, and he was explaining the difference of the defense this year. The centers will be back more in front of the net. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I like it. It kind of allows the centerman to read the play and be a little bit more loose in the D zone. If you see a pass going across the ice, you can kind of jump it, and you're kind of just supporting everywhere. So I like it a lot.
Now, does that mean you will be blocking more shots? And if so, how do you prepare to block a slap shot? I'm intrigued by that.
Yeah. Our old system, we were never kind of around to block the shots. So our new one, we're trying. Our wingers got to bail us out and get out quick enough so that I don't have to block a big howitzer. But hopefully it's just a nice wrist shot coming in.
Robert Thomas with us on 101 ESPN. And Robert, you mentioned earlier that you missed the playoffs, and that seems to be a prevailing thought and theme with this team in training camp. How much of a motivating factor can that be that you didn't get to the postseason last year?
Yeah, there's nothing more motivating than that. We've seen the attitude from before training camp, during training camp, and now heading into the season. Everyone's pissed off and everyone's motivated. So I'm really excited about the start of the season.
Robert, what is your prediction for your line mates? I know that possibly the lines could change, but so far you've been playing with Pavel Buchnevich and Jordan Kyrou. What do you expect to see, or what should we expect to see from them this season?
Yeah, I think another step up for me and Kyrou and Bucci to continue playing well, and I think he's got more to give too. So, we got a big task ahead of us this season, and if we stay together for most of it, I think we can produce a lot offensively, and as well as be good defensively against some of the other teams' top lines.
You talked about Kasperi Kapanen and his golf game. He got here late last year along with Jacob Vrana. What have you seen from him, Jacob, and Kevin Hayes in terms of really how they're adapting to the new team?
Yeah, I think they fit in really well. I think when you look at Cappy and Vrana, they got great speed. They can literally fly on the ice, and both got great shots. And V's got a great one-timer on the power play and in zone. He can score from anywhere. Cappy can play 200 feet, and he's strong at both ends. And Hazy as well just controls the play. He's always in the play and slows it down. And, he's going to be very good for us. So I'm really excited about those three.
Now, Robert, in football, when we have training camps, it's 2 weeks of full pads, hitting one another. We kind of get sick of each other, and there are some fights that take place. Does it get like that in training camp with hockey?
Not to the extent of football, no. It gets a little chippy towards the end because guys just want to play games, but not to the extent of that.
So you haven't had a teammate that you just wanted to punch in the face one day? Because I have. I'm just like, dude, I'm sick of you. You're sick of me. Let's hash this out like men.
No.
Hey, Robert, I don't know if you had a chance to watch last night with the opener between Tampa and Nashville, but it was just odd seeing O'Reilly in that Nashville sweater. And you were always one of the people that went to the Ryan O'Reilly post-practice school. What's his camp been like without him, and what's the adjustment been like for you, because you were pretty tight with him?
Yeah, obviously it's different. He looked weird and like the look of him in Nashville, but someone that I learned a lot from, and we're still kind of carrying those out in a different way. So wish him all the best. It was tough watching it, but he scored, I think, their first goal. So happy for him, and it's definitely weird seeing him there, and it's going to be even weirder when we play him.
Yeah, no doubt. I was going to ask you the biggest takeaway you have, and you spent 5 years with the guy, so you had a lot of things to learn from him. But if there's one thing that you take away from your experience with number 90, what is it?
I would say just preparation and consistency. I think were the two things. Day in, day out, his work ethic and practice and games, his preparation for practice and games, I think, would be my number one takeaway.
Well, Robert, we're looking forward to tomorrow night. We're looking forward to a great season. Looking forward to talking to you every week. Thanks so much for the time, and go get them against the Stars.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Robert Thomas, Blues center, with us on 101 ESPN from Frisco, Texas, where the Blues are having a bonding trip.
So I like that they do the bonding trip and they have a campfire, golfing. That's it. Did you guys ever have a bonding trip? Or their bonding evenings.
That's literally all you need to bond.
CD's
Brooke,
face.
you need a fire and golf. And some kind of beverage. That's all you need to have a bonding trip. There are no other requirements.
Doesn't sound that exciting.
We had a bonding trip after our Super Bowl victory.
Oh, there you go.
Went down to Atlanta and had visited a few establishments.
Oh, nice.
Bonded.
Very nice.
Giving back to the community.
Giving back as much as we can to those in need.
Good.
Exactly.
Coming up, Nutty Neuters of Newt Nation Unite. Lars Nootbaar joins us next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey, and let me tell you about my friends at STL Design and Build. As you all know, I've been going through the process of getting my deck rebuilt. It has been torn down. They're starting to put the process together. My project coordinator, Becky, has been keeping me in the loop of everything. We had a few issues here, but they took care of it. It was nothing on our end, nothing on their end, just something that I was told about, and they corrected it immediately, and there was no issues whatsoever. STL Design and Build is an award-winning company taking home the top workplace award as well as the best home improvement company. They truly believe in treating people how they want to be treated. They've been with me every step of the way. If I need help, I can talk to Becky. I can go to the Builder Trend app. I can correct anything on there. It's as simple as opening up your phone and going to Facebook, going to Snapchat, or going to Instagram. It takes that much time to sign off on whatever I need to be done. Check them out today. The STL is for St. Louis, but it also stands for Sky's the Limit. You can check them out online at stldesignandbuild.com. That's stldesignandbuild.com.
center. Tap on the run. Still going. That ball's gone. Another leadoff home run for Nootbaar. He is on after 2 innings. He'll face the top of the Cardinals order and Lars Nootbaar, who homered to get things started. And a high fly ball. Welcome to the game, Drew Smiley. Nootbaar has a 2-homer game. There's a go. Drive deep to right field. Smith and Jigba says goodbye. Pepper grinder time. Nootbaar with a lightning bolt ties this game.
Those calls from Chip Carey on Bally Sports during the season with Brooke Grimsley and Super Bowl champion Carey Davis. I'm Randy Karraker, and we do welcome to the Celebrity Line Cardinals outfielder Lars Nootbaar. Good to have you with us on 101 ESPN, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I appreciate that intro. I appreciate it.
Well, Lars, thank you so much for coming on. As you know, I've told you this season that I've been spearheading your fan club here in St. Louis, the Nutty Nooters of Newt Nation, as you know. But your fan club has gone international this season after playing for Team Japan. It felt like it just was like light speed, especially when you look at Instagram. You went from 30,000 followers to over 1 million. What has that been like for you?
That whole, 2 to 3 weeks of that WBC, that was pretty crazy. But the best part about it was, like you said, my social media was going so crazy that it kind of made me get off of social media and get off my phone. So honestly, it was nice and kind of relaxing because I wasn't really checking or updating or anything on my phone. So, but after the fact, with everything that was pretty hectic.
Lars, you finished up your 3rd season. You had the WBC last season. You all made the playoffs. This season wasn't as great of a year. What have you learned in that year span about yourself and what you need to do going forward?
Yeah, I think a lot. Obviously individually, faced some injuries and stuff this year, but I think also as a team and as a member of the Cardinals, I think you can't take winning for granted and you can't take success for granted. I think, I think the St. Louis community has been, used to just winning, and I think we as the athletes, we felt the same way. But I think, you understand after this season that you got to put in the work, and no matter if you have the Cardinals and the birds on the bat across your chest, that you can't take anything for granted. And so, we as the players need to go out there and starting this off season, going into the spring, realize that nothing's going to be handed to us, and we got to go out and put our best foot forward.
Lars, kind of off of that, what was the feeling in the clubhouse at the end of the season there, and what was the message from Ollie Marmol about things moving forward?
Yeah, I think it was mainly obviously disappointment amongst the players that we didn't do what we wanted to do. It was unfortunately kind of foreseen for about a month prior, so you could kind of get to that point obviously at the end of the season and understand where we were going to be. But with Ollie, it was just the message was, listen, this is unacceptable, and we're not. This isn't who we are. And next year we better come in with the mindset that, we're going to win and, that this is kind of a fluke of a season and we're going to come in and be ready and expect to win. And he was kind of saying that. And I think we as players, kind of understood that. And he wanted to make sure that he was getting to us that this isn't who we are, and next year is going to be a completely different story.
Lars, we as players generally put the onus on ourselves to play better when things aren't going well. So what would you could you put your finger on one thing or a few things, what do you think went wrong this season for you all?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak on behalf of everybody, but for me, I just think personally, I think I disappointed a lot of people in that, I spent some time on the IL and wasn't, available all the time. And, when I was playing, I just didn't feel like I was, able, there was a small stretch there where I felt like I was playing all right, but I just feel like I didn't play up to, what my standards were. And, so I feel like personally, I know that there's a lot of things that I got to work on this off season. So, I'm excited for it because I'm coming into this off season knowing that next year is going to be a much better player. But, I can't really say exactly. I just think, from the start, it was kind of tough, and then we didn't really build any momentum like we wanted to. But, again, I can't speak on behalf of the whole team. It's just me. I know me personally, I was disappointed with myself.
One thing about you personally, though, Lars, is not that you ever figure it out in baseball, right? But it seems like things kind of clicked for you in July and August. You have a 969 OPS in July, and then before you get hurt in August, you have a 984. What was the difference there? What had you, quote unquote, figured out?
Yeah, I think a lot of consistency, with my at-bats and stuff like that. That was right at the All-Star break, too. So I went home and worked on a few things, which was nice. Same thing with the year before. I go into those All-Star breaks and try to take advantage of that time off. But, I think at that point, I'd come back from my thumb and my back or whatever, and so I was kind of having consistent at-bats and being able to implement things during the games that, that I wanted to. But unfortunately, like you said, I had a little contact injury there that kind of slowed me down a little bit. But yeah, I think the All-Star break's always a big one for me.
Who came up with that phrase for that injury?
I was going to ask. That's a great name for it.
What did you say for the injury?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just one that I thought of on the spot. Yeah.
That was one painful. Every male Cardinal fan, when you did that, said, ooh.
I was going to say, every man could relate to that.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, Lars, I wanted to ask you about, there will be some Japanese players making the move over to Major League Baseball this coming season. Two of the big names that everybody is watching right now will be Yoshi Yamamoto and Shota Imanaga. And I know that you have played with them, obviously, in the WBC. What can you say about them? And is there anybody that you could kind of compare them to currently in Major League Baseball?
Ooh, put me on the spot here. Imanaga, I actually both players, I guess everybody, here was able to see them because of the WBC, which is pretty cool. Imanaga is obviously left-handed and he's kind of I don't really know. They're both like command guys with plus stuff, I would say. I just saw Yoshinobu just won the Triple Crown over there in Japan. He won, I think, the ERA, strikeouts, and wins, and I think he also had the highest winning percentage too. That's my boy. I was talking to him a little bit yesterday. That's my guy. So, but no, these guys are both extremely talented and extremely nasty pitchers, and so I'm just excited. I want to see where they land and what they get and everything like that. I'm a fan just like everybody, but I truly believe those are two arms that could come in and help a major league team right away.
Lars, have you told Yoshi about that we have a free zoo here in St. Louis and T-Ravs and Emo's Pizza and a lot of other great things here in St. Louis?
I know. I told him about the toasted ravioli. I said, we got, depending on where you are, there's good food and walking distance everywhere. It's humid just like Japan gets too, so and so I'm trying to do my thing for the St. Louis community for sure.
Hey Lars, are you watching any of the playoffs?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'm locked in.
I as an observer, I just feel like September and then October are almost a different sport. As you went down the stretch, especially in the hunt in 2022 and the couple of postseason games, did it feel different, and if so, how?
You're definitely right. And when you're leading down in September, it's almost like you're playing for it, But then last year obviously we won the division and we had some time off, and it's weird, man. Once you clinch that division, your spot's pretty much set in the National League. You're kind of playing that next week or 10 days or whatever it is just to line yourself up perfectly for that October. And then like we've seen this year and also last year with us, like all hands are on deck, any game possible. There is no off days or down for a bullpen arm or anything like that. And so it's just intense. Just win the moment, win the pitch, win now, as opposed to winning the 162. So the mentality changes as a team, and the mentality changes, I think, as a coaching staff too. And so, it's bizarre, but that's what's great about sports is that, the 162 is great and all, but then once you come into the playoffs and the lights are on, that's when it really matters.
Lars, are you going to take over being the commissioner of the Fantasy Football League? I heard Adam Wainwright chirping you on the broadcast last night a little bit about it.
Yeah, I know. That was kind of a low blow by Wainwright. What he failed to mention was that I was the highest scorer of the week this past week on fantasy football. So I thought it would be a good time for me to text Wayno, but unfortunately, he still decided to say that about me. And no, I do not. I do not think I'll be taking over the commissioner role. I think somebody more responsible, like Goldie or somebody like that, should probably take it over. They probably shouldn't leave it in my hands.
Yeah, especially if you're a commissioner of a league where Tommy Pham is one of the players.
No. That's a different one.
I know. You just don't want to be that commissioner. So, hey, Lars, before we let you go, make a case for me for your USC Trojans to be in the college football playoff, one of the Final Four. Why can they be?
Hey, listen, they're defensive. They're front four. They're front seven. You know, they have like the most tackles for loss in the country. They have a lot of QB pressures, QB sacks. So the front seven, listen, I'm not going to deny that secondary on the defense isn't the greatest probably in the nation. But what I will say is Caleb Williams might be the best college quarterback I've ever seen.
He's really good.
And that's coming from a two-time All-State quarterback, you know, right here himself.
Okay.
But no, I mean, he is true. I mean, honestly, I don't know how many losses we have if we have, you know, a normal Heisman winning quarterback on our team. Like, I think he is that good. And so, you know, as soon as we you know, figure out that secondary, I think we got the greatest quarterback in the past like decade, you know, leading us. And, you know, we all know in college football how important that is. So we'll see. I mean, we got a couple weeks. Obviously, I think we got Notre Dame this upcoming week, so that's gonna be tough. But yeah, man, the Trojans. A good time to be a Trojans fan for sure.
And do you think? Because I truly believe this, with NIL and the money from NIL, that city cares so much about that college program. I think USC is the scariest program in the country because of the people that actually work in the name, image, and likeness industry liking as much football as they do there.
Yeah, no, for sure. And being as like, you know, I guess, like resourceful as USC can be with this NIL, it is an advantage. And what's crazy is that, you know, a guy like Caleb Williams making $3-4 million a year. I know he came out and said in that GQ article that he would stay if the situation isn't right. But I think it's going to be good for the sport in general because you're going to have guys that aren't feeling pressure of leaving early because they're making so much money in college football. And I think the product, you know, is only going to benefit. And it's going to make people that, you know, are kind of iffy about going be financially stable for a little bit and do kind of what they want, what their heart desires. And so, yeah, I mean, but as for USC, I'm happy. We got him and Bronny James, who are two of the most highly paid athletes in all of college sports on one campus, which is pretty good.
That's pretty cool. Hey, we are proud members of the group that Brooke started. We're the Nutty Neuters of Newt Nation.
Yes. President and CEO right here, and the fan base continues to grow. Thank you so much, Lars.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Have a great day, and safe travels to Japan.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Take care. That's Lars Newtbar with us on 101 ESPN.
You see, this is the right fan club to be a part of. Totally. We will always take in members. There's not much you have to do. Maybe you just throw me a Lars Newtbar fact, and you are immediately a nutty neuter of Newt Nation. I already got a text in saying I don't like that name. Sorry about it. Either you're nutty about him or you're not.
Right. So it ain't changing.
It ain't changing. No.
And
what it is.
Here's the thing. It's like two-time California All-State quarterback.
Pretty darn good.
Yes.
Yeah. Randy, what did he call the injury that he had?
He called it contact injury.
Oh, buddy.
That was
that's making hard contact, too.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Ooh, yikes. Coming up on 101 ESPN, the Vikings don't look like they're going anywhere in 2023. So who should be calling them about their free agent-to-be quarterback Kirk Cousins? That's next on 101 ESPN. Hey, kids, fall is here, and those brisk mornings and hot afternoons in St. Louis are no joke. You need layers of clothing just to make it through the weather. Well, getting your home ready for fall is important, and part of that is getting your heating system maintenance. The heating and air conditioning equipment is the most expensive appliance in your home, and getting it maintained by Hoffman Brothers annually is very important to the longevity of your system, the operation of your system, and how energy efficient it remains. At Hoffman Brothers, they can come out and perform a heating maintenance, clean the system, and check all the burners and gas lines for carbon monoxide. Safety for you and your family is their biggest priority. Call today at Hoffman Brothers to schedule your heating system maintenance or join their home protection plan, which costs as little as $34 a month. Visit HoffmanBros.com or call 314-664-3011. Hoffman Brothers is an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer. Find them on the web at HoffmanBros.com or call 314-664-3011. Before you know it, that cold weather will be here in St. Louis. Get your furnace checked by Hoffman Brothers.
This is Rocky with your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Last night in baseball playoffs, the Astros beat up on the Twins 9-1. They lead that series 2-1. Those 2 wins by the Astros represent just 3 total wins through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs by teams with the higher seed. Speaking of which, the Rangers, the lower seed in their matchup against the Orioles, swept them 3-0 after last night's 7-1 victory. Braves and Phillies are back in action with the early game today. 4:07 is your first pitch. That series tied at 1 apiece. The Astros will try to finish off the Twins with a 2-1 lead tonight. 6:07 first pitch, and you can catch Dodgers and Diamondbacks right here on 101 ESPN. It's an 8:07 first pitch as the Dodgers try to avoid elimination. That is your Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff. Find your roads and shop 24/7 at Londoff.com and LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
I'm sure teams will start calling and asking, and I'm sure it will perk their ears up. How that plays in the locker room, no one really knows, but it's not a place you'd want to be. Like, I don't think anybody foresaw them starting this poorly and now losing Jefferson. To me, I'm not sure that you overcome that.
That is ESPN's Jeff Saturday talking about the possibility of the Vikings trading free agent to be quarterback Kirk Cousins. And the Vikings are 1-4. Doesn't look like they're going to be a playoff team this year. And there are 2 teams that could really use Kirk Cousins. Now, let's lay some ground rules down here, because if you are 1-4, or you're a bad 2-3, you don't need Kirk Cousins because he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. So there's no reason to trade for him. The reason that you trade for him is because you have good players that surround him or surround a quarterback, and he is a guy that could lift you to quarterback status. Now, then he would have to play big games for you. So what we're talking about is getting to the playoffs. There are 2 teams that I see in the league, one in the AFC and one in the NFC. One just lost their quarterback. They're the Indianapolis Colts. I know they have Gardner Minshew, but Kirk Cousins is better and more established than Gardner Minshew, and he would be a good fit, especially with Jonathan Taylor coming back in Indy. The one team that I see in the entire league that could use him to help them make the playoffs is the Atlanta Falcons. They've got a tight end. They've got a wide receiver. They've got a running back. They've got an offensive line. They don't have a quarterback. And he would be a great fit there.
That's a good one. I thought about the Jets as well, even, with the injury to Aaron Rodgers. I thought that could be a potential where, that's a team that is ready to make some noise in the NFL. Zach Wilson is probably not the one to help make that noise. So that's another thing. But I like the Falcons, and I hadn't thought about the Colts with the injury to Anthony Richardson. My only question there would be, Richardson is going to be injured for 4 to 6 weeks.
4 to 6, yeah.
So what do you do when he comes back? Are you just going to say, okay, we'll have these 3 quarterbacks on the roster, Gardner Minshew, Kirk Cousins and Anthony Richardson? Are you going to have all 3 of those guys on the roster with Anthony Richardson, who is your first-round draft pick, sitting out and watching?
My thing is, when Richardson comes back, I want to be in the hunt.
Yeah, but that's my question. Now he's going to be on the bench because you're not going to bench Kirk Cousins for Anthony Richardson when he returns.
Yeah. Well, it's a good problem to have.
It is. I don't know if that. We just barely got Jim Irsay to pay Jonathan Taylor.
That's true.
That took a minute.
He'll pay the quarterback.
Yeah, I agree with you, CD. Jets was the first one that I thought of and jumped out to me because remember, there was even some talks early on with the Aaron Rodgers injury that possibly the Jets could be interested, but then that went away. But now in the situation, the Jets are 2-3 right now in a really tight AFC race. Do you look at that as a possibility? To me, it makes sense to have Kirk Cousins with the Jets. We already got a text in. What do you guys think about the Cowboys?
He's not going to Dallas.
No.
Jerry Jones is stuck on Dak Prescott. He believes what he believes, and so he's not going to Dallas.
If the Cowboys are going to make a move at quarterback, they're going to play Trey Lance.
I don't think he would play before Cooper Rush.
Well, or Rush.
Yeah.
But you're right about Jerry Jones being all in on Dak.
Yes.
And you have to look at the political game here because you have Prescott under contract. You gave Rush a contract, too. And I wonder if their cap would allow them to even go and pursue a guy like Cousins.
We had another text in talking about the Patriots being a possible landing spot. What about that as a fit? Because the Bill Belichick era, I think, is being tarnished right now because of what you're seeing with Mac Jones, and that's obviously not working out if you bench him 2 games in a row. Would Kirk Cousins fit into that situation? Because, as we know, Bill Belichick likes good, established quarterbacks.
Well, he liked one.
He had one for a long time.
That's why he's established.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just don't know if the Patriots at 1-4, do they have enough left?
No.
To have him come in and turn things around, and they don't have enough other players either. Kirk Cousins isn't going to elevate the players. Here's the look at we've watched the Patriots. Who on the Patriots offense scares you?
That's what I'm saying. Kirk Cousins goes from throwing to Justin Jefferson to who? That would be the question that he would ask. I think one of the issues that, when you were talking about Kirk Cousins prior to the season and his contract expiring, there were more teams then than there are now. I think prior to the season, you would have looked at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and said, okay, possibly. But Baker Mayfield, he's playing okay. You would say maybe the Washington Commanders, but they probably aren't going to make the playoffs in that division behind
So why sign
Dallas
a free?
and Philly.
Why trade for a free agent?
So why waste your time doing that? The Chicago Bears aren't going to win anything. Seattle Seahawks, I think they pay Geno, so they're not going to do anything. So I think that the number of teams has gone down, but that Atlanta Falcons team. Now, let me ask you this: what about Derek Carr in the New Orleans Saints? What would you, if Derek Carr, he was injured, he's been injured, he's gotten a couple of injuries. If he were to go down for an extended period of time,
do I like Cousins better than Jameis?
Oh yeah, yes,
I do.
Yeah.
But I wonder.
And Derek Carr isn't lighting the world on fire right now. I know they won't trade, because of that. But it's a few teams that you can look at and say, maybe we talked about maybe Tennessee. I don't know.
I don't know about that with Tennessee.
They're still in the division.
Well, the big thing is with these teams, whenever you're trading a veteran quarterback in midseason, a lot of it comes down to how much pressure is the front office under. For example, I think that Douglas and Saleh are under pressure to win in New York, and they might need to. Obviously, Rand Carthon, the new GM in Tennessee, isn't going anywhere,
right.
And Vrabel probably isn't going anywhere. And when you draft a quarterback like they drafted Levis, the front office understands, hey, it's going to be a year. We're going to get him ready. I don't think that they have any reasonable expectations of winning the Super Bowl this year.
Right.
If I were the Titans in this situation, and we're talking about Kirk Cousins, I would sooner play Levis and have him more ready for next year than go out and get a guy who's going to be a free agent after this year.
At some point, inevitably, it happens every year. There's going to be a starting quarterback that goes down for a good team for an extended period of time, and that's when Kirk Cousins will probably get traded.
Yeah.
If it's before the trade deadline. You're looking at a team with Tua. You don't want to say anything bad, but if Tua were to go down, that would be a great landing spot. But it's going to be something. It's football. Somebody may get injured, and then you'll see Kirk Cousins on the move to another city.
Mayfield has been hurt before, and Tampa Bay's in first in their division. So that would be one.
It's a possibility.
And Baker has the history of getting hurt. Tua has the history of getting hurt. So, yeah, there's some teams out there that Pittsburgh Steelers.
I was going to say, we got back-to-back texts in saying Steelers.
Kirk Cousins.
Sign me then.
Anything else but that.
Yeah. So he'll probably get moved. It'll be interesting. And the other interesting thing will be if he does, I should say there's a possibility he'll get moved. But if he does, who plays quarterback for the Vikings? It's not like they drafted the replacement.
They have Hendon Hooker. I think he's on their roster.
Is he there?
Yeah.
Okay, well, then they're fine.
The Tennessee.
Yes.
Yeah.
Volunteer.
Okay, well then.
They drafted him in the 4th round this year. Is that right? 4th or 5th round?
Let him play. Nick Mullins is their backup. Jaron Hall. I wonder if Hooker's on IL.
Didn't they draft Hooker?
Or was the Cleveland? I don't remember where he was.
He's with the Lions. Yes.
It's the Lions. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so Nick Mullins.
And
then,
remember, he got injured towards the end of his career at Tennessee, so that was a bit of a recovery time.
They've got last year's BYU quarterback, Jaron Hall, as their third stringer.
That guy,
he was that guy.
Yep.
Yeah, that guy who followed Zach Wilson. And then Nick Mullins has been around the block a little bit.
Nick Mullins has been around.
You're tanking. If you are the Vikings and you trade Kirk Cousins, you are tanking.
And then you just sit out Justin Jefferson for the rest of the year.
Yep, right.
I need to come back.
Rock and roll coming your way to head down the stretch here on 101 ESPN.
Hey everyone, it's Brooke here. Ever since I moved here to St. Louis back in 2018, I really loved exploring my new home, and thanks to the Metro, it's so much easier to do. I've lived in other cities that didn't provide public transportation, and believe me, it led to a lot of congested traffic and made it harder to get to events like concerts and games, but that's why I love Metro Transit. It's easy to access for everyone, taking you right to Busch Stadium, City Park, Enterprise, and more without the hassle of parking or waiting in traffic or trying to get an Uber. You know how bad those surge prices are. Metro Transit just gets you straight to the action. Even if you haven't given Metro a try yet, it's something that I promise you other places wish they had available. There's many benefits even if you don't ride. A healthy and vibrant public transportation system helps attract businesses to come here and create a significant amount of jobs for the region. And of course, it helps many get to their job, which is really important. Give Metro a chance and experience the benefits for yourself. Thanks to Metro, you don't have to drive to thrive.
And roll.
Let's rock. Let's rock today.
If you want to hear the Lars Nootbaar interview again, you can by going to the app or the website, 101ESPN.com. Listen to our podcast brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Center. And, of course, if you want to watch us on the YouTube, all you need to do is go to youtube.com, type in 101ESPN STL. You can subscribe and like our channel. And we're brought to you by Air Alliance, the Air Alliance team. So if you're watching right now, you're seeing me do a Vanna for the Air Alliance team.
Oh.
Yeah. So the Air Alliance
You got to
team.
do like the full hand movement.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go.
Wow.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
How about
Stunning.
that?
Hey, she's made a great career out of that.
She really has. Congratulations to her.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
She did.
She should be the new host. When Kat retires.
Yeah.
She made good money, and she was underpaid compared to what Pat Sajak was making. It was ridiculous.
How much was she making?
She was making, I mean, it was a lot
Like
less
$6 million.
than Pat Sajak, who was, I mean, not saying she was making bad money. I'm just saying.
There was a big difference.
It was a big difference, and it's not like Pat's job was hard.
You don't know how hard that is.
Stop, come on.
He didn't have to get into an evening gown every day.
RSTLNE.
Right there.
to say
Right there.
1,000.
Yeah. Oh, no. You had a good run going. Oh, God. I mean, the ad-libbing he had to do on that show and somebody hit bankruptcy. Woo-wee.
Sorry, we already had that letter.
Randy, you missed Monday and Tuesday, and that was really sad because...
It was?
Yeah, I wanted you to tap dance on the graves of the Patriots and the Cowboys. It would have been I could have given you 2 full segments just to dance on Jerry and Belichick's grave, and it would have been fantastic radio. But we didn't have... I mean, come on. George Kittle pulled up a shirt that said F Dallas during that game.
That's
come
a
on.
little old school, little football Cardinals Terry Metcalf T-shirts school. It said the Cowboys eat bird blank, which was great.
Awesome.
What better Monday for you to be here?
I love the fact that not only did the 49ers just thump Dallas, but then Deebo Samuel said, if you play us again, it might be worse.
And here's what I'm going to get to. Micah Parsons not too happy with George Kittle. He was the first one to come out and issue kind of a rematch request with the 49ers.
He did, I promise.
Yeah, he did. No, he did.
By the way, everybody wants a rematch with the New England Patriots now. Even the Jets.
You know, for me, this is like stirred up drama. Y'all got thumped. Like you had an opportunity, and now it's personal. It wasn't personal when it was 28-10. Like it wasn't personal when it was 40. Like at what point it didn't get personal until he raised his shirt up and said "duck phallus." That's what his shirt said. That's when it became personal. Until then, it was not. Come on, man. Nobody care about all that. You had a chance to go hit the guy in the game.
Right, exactly.
Why do they do this afterwards, man? I don't like.
I think the best because you can't really say, yeah, they're way better than us. You just shut your mouth.
You don't say anything.
No, don't say anything.
Laugh now, cry later. No, they're laughing, and they're going to be laughing all the way to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and Dallas is not that good. The game of the year is going to be Philadelphia and San Francisco.
Yes.
All right, sorry about that. For some reason,
can't get the audio.
Audition decided that it wasn't ever going to play any of the audio that I had. So here was Micah Parsons talking about George Kittle.
George Kittle had 3 touchdowns on us, and he posted this thing to IG. He said, F Dallas. I just feel like he's making it way more personal than it had to be. Kittle's my guy, but I'm going to say this. Laugh now, cry later. We got something for that. Just trust. If we see them again, just trust. And we're going to put it just like that. I ain't going to put too much on it. You going to make it personal? We can make it personal. That's cool.
Deebo Samuel was then on a podcast yesterday, and he said, oh, no, it was already personal. Don't worry about that. 42-10, I don't think you want to see us again. It might be a little bit worse.
Yep.
That's what I like.
It's personal now. Bro, they punched y'all in the face.
It should have been personal on Sunday night.
What are you talking about? George Kittle, I mean, he scored 3 touchdowns, but it's personal after he raised up his shirt and said F Dallas. No, it was personal. When they that's the problem, in my opinion. When the 49ers stepped into the stadium, it was personal at that point. And maybe that's the mindset that team has going into every game. And maybe that's the mindset that Dallas needs to have going into a game. It's already personal. Ain't no friends.
Yeah. And I by the way, with that being personal, I think it probably was personal. It's personal for every other team in the league because now the world is finding out. We've known it here for a few years because of my math abilities.
Sure.
That Bill Belichick is a fraud, and he's a 100% product of Tom Brady.
So how would you describe the era now, the Bill Belichick era? Just the overall body of work.
Overall, including?
Yeah. Or even towards the end here. Do you think that what we're seeing now is more indicative of who he really is?
Yes, I do. In terms of picking players and coaching them up, yes, I think this is more indicative of who he is. Now, he had a really good front office. Remember, in Cleveland, he had Ozzie Newsome to go out and get Vinny Testaverde for him, and things were a little bit different. Doesn't have that now. And so, yeah, I think this is probably who he is. Might not be who he is as a coach, but it certainly is who he is as a general manager.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of coaches and maybe getting a little personal, college coaches, they just keep stepping over the line. And it's been a weird season, and they just keep having weird press conferences and weird quotes. Mark Stoops did his radio show, and fans were not happy after they got drubbed by Georgia. And so Stoops had a response.
You know, the other side, if you want to do that, it's blame, complain, deny, or make excuses. And we're not going to do that. You know, it is what it is. And, you know, fans have that right. I give it to them. I just encourage them to donate more because that's what those teams are doing. I can promise you in Georgia, they bought some pretty good players. You're allowed to these days. And we could use some help. That's what they look like. You know what I mean? When you have 85 of them. So I encourage anybody that's disgruntled to pony up some more.
Coach, I think people are, first of all, they bought basketball players for a year.
Oh, man.
But there's nothing wrong with buying players. Like you said, it's legal.
But
so
the way
put it on the fans.
The way he puts, you get drubbed 51-13, and you go, listen, if you guys just donated a little bit more, we'd be fine. College coaches are on a different wavelength this year, and it's annoying, but I'm kind of here for it.
It's never going to be fine. It's just not. I mean, I wish people would understand this, man. There are the haves and the have-nots. And most of us are in the have-nots.
And how many schools?
It is what it is.
It is.
How many schools get have-nots in both sports? Not a lot. Or get to be haves in both sports? Not a lot.
No, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
not many.
Probably a handful.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you.
That's our producer and audio engineer, Matthew Rocchio. Brooke, this was fun. Thanks for getting new.
How about that?
How about that? How about that?
What are we laughing at?
Because you said audio engineer, and then some random music just started.
Oh,
and his face was,
oh no. It's okay.
Buttons do their own thing sometimes.
Sometimes stuff happen off camera and it can stay off camera, Carey, all right?
No, your facial expressions.
Hey, if I got called out for my hungry stomach yesterday, you can deal with it, Rock.
Yes. That was also
It was about time that happened.
That was also hilarious.
Good. CD.
Show us your face. We want to see your face. Who said that? You want to see my face?
Hey, we thank you for tuning in, texting in, and being a part of the show. We're going to have the Doug Armstrong press conference coming up in just a moment, talking about the Blues roster. For all of us, until tomorrow morning at 7, have a great hump day, St. Louis.
That's right.